All right, well, good Saturday morning, everybody. William Cole here in the Forecast Center. And really, as expected, we talked about this yesterday, that opportunity for freezing drizzle in Oklahoma this morning. It's happening. And in fact, right now, unfortunately, there are some traffic snarls in parts of central Oklahoma and possibly in other parts of the state as well. We're going to check in with our team of trackers. In fact, one of our trackers, Aaron Spencer, he's actually at a rollover accident right now. So I just want to stress, I know it's Saturday morning. A lot of folks don't have to get out and work. Don't be caught off guard by this freezing drizzle. It's thick freezing drizzle. Again, it's happening right now across a good part of Oklahoma. And because the air temperatures are so cold, the ground is much colder than the freezing drizzle we had about a week ago. There are slick spots developing, and they're developing quick out there. So let's go and kind of get to it. This is what's going on. So again, it's freezing drizzle, fairly hard to pick up here on radar as we kind of zoom in to portions of central Oklahoma. First of all, again, you can basically, again, kind of see it here showing up on radar. Basically, we're seeing the pink there. There's at least an opportunity for some freezing drizzle, but again, it's out there. And again, even on most of our live cams here in central Oklahoma, our North Norman cam, our downtown Oklahoma City cam, essentially they're all frozen up again with the freezing drizzle. And again, you're actually seeing that right now. That is what you're seeing there. That is our downtown Oklahoma City cam. It is ice coated again here in central Oklahoma. So what I want to do, I want to get to our team of trackers. This is Aaron Spencer's video, and I believe he's on the north side of the Metro. Let's go and check in with him. And Aaron, tell us again exactly where you are right now. Again, you have the rollover accident, and I think you're out of Guthrie. We'll update that banner there, but tell us where you are and tell us what's going on there.
Yes, William. We are just south of Seward Road, just outside of Guthrie on I-35 looking southbound. We pulled up on this here about 15 to 20 minutes ago. There is one Logan County Sheriff and a trooper just pulled off about 2 minutes ago. There doesn't look to be anybody here. I'm guessing they probably already got transported out. But, yeah, this is southbound I-35, and the road conditions are getting pretty slick as we speak.
So what I want to do, I also want to go and bring Mike Russ on the line with us here as well. And I know he's on the western sides of the Oklahoma City Metro, out near El Reno. And Mike, we're going to go and take a look at your live video and go and give us, if you're on the live line here with us, go and give us a live update where you are right now.
In fact, it kind of actually caught us off guard. We expected the bridges, but not the roadways yet. And we kind of spun our tires a little bit on the ice there at the intersection as we were rounding the corner to head north on Garth Brooks Boulevard. So, ladies and gentlemen, please understand that if you don't have to get out, don't get out, because these road conditions are going to deteriorate pretty fast out here. But yes, William, we are in Yukon, Oklahoma right now, and I can confirm that some roadways are starting to actually get iced over themselves. So it's not just the bridges and overpasses that you need to be concerned about. It's also going to be some of these concrete style roads that are cooling down faster than the asphalt is, and thus they're getting icy as well right now, William.
Yeah, I really appreciate that update there, Mike. And again, yeah, this is just a different deal, folks, than what we had, you know, just a couple days ago when we kind of had that freezing rain and freezing drizzle event here in central Oklahoma. You know, then the ground temperatures were warmer. You know, the roadway temperatures were warmer, and we did have some traffic issues. I mean, we absolutely had those covered. In fact, around the Dallas Junction, really throughout the day, several accidents that we had live here in Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. But again, today's a different deal because again, the roadways, they're just so much colder. Let's go back to this here. And again, this is Aaron Spencer's video. Again, this is just south of Guthrie. Again, this is the rollover accident. As Mike continues to come on into the Oklahoma City Metro, there are other active accidents currently in the Oklahoma City Metro. Talking about Oklahoma City specifically, I-235 and 23rd Street. Also over around the Hefner Parkway, getting reports of some incidents there as well. And then also a report of an accident on I-40, which I think Mike will be to fairly quickly. And we should have some video of that coming in momentarily as well. So again, there are active accidents around the Oklahoma City Metro. You know, this isn't a solid glaze of ice across all the roads, but again, this is fairly thick, freezing drizzle. It continues to come down, might last for several hours. We're tracking that carefully. And again, as we're seeing now, again, with our team of trackers, again, who are doing just a great job this morning, you know, there are slick spots out there. So again, if you don't need to get out and about this morning, even really through early afternoon, the best advice is just not to get out if you don't have to this morning. Because the other thing you really have to keep in mind, you know, besides the slick spots out there, you know, heaven forbid if you did get out and something were to happen, you know, we're talking about dangerously cold temperatures, dangerously cold wind chills out there today as well. It's a completely different deal than what happened about a week ago. Again, this is Arctic air that is now built into Oklahoma. And again, we have this at least fairly thick freezing drizzle that really continues to build in. Around 6 o'clock this morning, it was fairly light, but I can tell you over about the last hour, 2 hours, it's really thickened up. And it's gotten a lot worse out there. And that could be the trend, at least as we go through the morning hours, kind of the mid to late morning hours, that things do continue to deteriorate. This is the other thing I want to do here real quick. And we're going to check right back in with our team of trackers and get a live update. But I want to go back over to the weather computer. This is the downtown Oklahoma City cam. Again, it's completely iced up like we were talking about. Again, obviously freezing drizzle, freezing rain. It basically coats the elevated surfaces right away. But this is what I'm talking about. This is the other thing that we're tracking today. It is those temperatures. It's 21 in downtown Oklahoma City. Your feels like number, your chill factor out there, just updated live, it's 10. So again, we're talking about dangerously cold temperatures along with that freezing drizzle that again is now ongoing. These are live numbers around the rest of the state. Again, cold front still pushing through portions of southeastern Oklahoma, so a little more mild there. But again, from the panhandle, northwestern parts of the state, even here in central Oklahoma, again, these are brutally cold temperatures. Down the Oklahoma panhandle, out there around Ava, it's currently +9. So we have teens all across northwestern Oklahoma. And again, we're essentially right at 20 here in central Oklahoma. What I want to do, I want to go and kind of skip this ahead a little bit. I want to take a look at the wind chill factors. These are live wind chills around Oklahoma. And again, notice the Oklahoma panhandle, northwestern Oklahoma. So these are now sub-zero negative wind chill factors. And the wind chills as you get into central Oklahoma becoming from +2 to right around +10 here in central Oklahoma, right around 0 there in northern parts of the state. So again, I just want to underscore that fact that again, if you are out traveling, you have to for any reason, again, heaven forbid anything were to happen, you know, this is what we're dealing with today. These are dangerously cold temperatures. Hypothermia, again, can set in, you know, fairly quickly. Again, if you are exposed to those temperatures for very long. So this is outright dangerous now, what we're dealing with across Oklahoma. So I also want to do this. I want to go back to the accident there just south of Guthrie. And again, that's where we have Aaron Spencer. Aaron, we're looking at your live video. Again, this was a rollover accident that he just came across just a few minutes ago. Aaron, go and tell us again where you are and give us a live update from your location.
Yes, William. We are on I-35 South, just south of Seward Road in Guthrie. We're looking at this rollover accident right now where a Logan County sheriff has still been sitting here for the past 20 to 30 minutes as Say that again. Okay. But yeah, we're looking at I-35 South right now. We don't know if there was anybody injured in this accident or not because I think they were already transported from the scene. We did see a Guthrie hospital going northbound towards Guthrie, so that might have been what that was coming from.
Okay, really appreciate that update. So again, that is just south of Guthrie. That's right around Seward Road, close to county line, up there in Logan County. And again, so this is just one example. So again, we have reports of other accidents in Oklahoma City proper and the Oklahoma City Metro I-40, and then also one on I-235 and 23rd Street, then also out around the Hefner Parkway. We had a report of a couple accidents. Seems like the Hefner Parkway always kind of gets a little dicey anytime you're talking about frozen precipitation. But again, this was a rollover. And again, just to underscore, the traffic's still moving fairly good there. Again, we're not, going to be talking about completely ice-covered roads, but there will be slick spots here and there. And all it does, it just takes one slick spot. And that's why, this freezing drizzle type stuff, it's so dangerous because, you're driving along and for the most part, everything's going fine. There's really nothing happening. But then again, once you hit that one slick spot, again, this is what happens. So that's why, these freezing drizzle situations and some freezing rain, sometimes it can be worst case, for some folks out there. So here's what I want to do. I want to go back to Mike Russ here as well. And so they are still up around the Yukon area. And I know Mike, he's just kind of parked up there. But Mike, you were reporting that even some of the, not just necessarily overpasses and elevated roadways, but some of the actual streets were becoming a little bit slick. Give us an update from Yukon. Mike, are you on the live line with us? Okay, we may need to check back in with Mike coming up here in just a second. There as well. So it looks like we had a little issue there with our volume, but looks like we got it fixed there now. So what I was saying is, as we're taking a look at Mesoscan XR here, again, basically looking at radar imagery, sometimes when you're dealing with freezing drizzle, it's a little bit hard to detect on radar because it's not outright rain, it's very fine liquid particulates. And as we're looking at Mesoscan XR here, this is our extreme resolution radar, again, where you're seeing kind of the purples and some of the peach colors there showing up, the wintry weather colors. That's basically just letting us know that, again, there is some of that drizzle in progress. So, you get away from the radar site, you get over here into east central Oklahoma, you get over into west central Oklahoma, and the radar just doesn't really do a good job of picking up on drizzle. Again, it's so fine, the particulates are so small that, again, you really have to be close to the radar site. So, again, we can say for sure in the Oklahoma City Metro we're seeing it. And again, like I said, Mike out there on the western sides of the Metro, he is picking up on some of that as well. So let's do this. Let's go back to Mike's live shot here. And Mike, if you're on the live line with us, let us know now. I don't know if you're back with us or not. You're out there around the Yukon area. But if you're with us live, go ahead and give us an update. Tell us where you are and what's going on there on the western sides of the Metro.
Yeah, William, it's Jesse here. We're actually in Yukon off of Garth Brooks in a parking lot. And Mike has stepped out of the vehicle temporarily, and he did tell me that the entire parking lot has a glaze of ice on it. So we are confirming that it is thicker spots on bridges. There are also driveways, parking lots, and some of the main roadways on intersections and stuff like that are also slicking spots. So if you do not need to get out and about, stay home, stay with the family, stay warm. If you do, please just be aware of the roadways, the surroundings, and just be aware. It's continuing, the temperatures are continuing to stay cold, drop some. So it's going to deteriorate as the day goes on. Back to you, William.
Jesse, really appreciate that update there. A great job. Again, you and Mike both out there. And again, it really seems like, you know, some of these locations, besides even the elevated surfaces, the bridges and the roadways that we talked about, bridges and overpasses, maybe some of the parking lots and some of the areas where the concrete just isn't quite as thick. And again, with the really cold temperatures out there, some of those, you know, again, we're talking about like the parking lots and stuff, they're able to cool down, they're able to chill down a little bit quicker. And again, with this, again, very fine freezing drizzle that we're seeing out there, they are becoming at least a little bit more in the way of at least slick spots, again, areas of ice that are possibly developing. So again, we're talking about, besides even the bridges and overpasses, again, also talking about some parking lots, and, you know, maybe even that could be a possibility there, even around the Hefner Parkway as well, where the concrete just a little bit thinner. And again, like I said, we're getting reports of some accidents there. So Mike and Jesse, they're about to be moving again here in just a second. They're going to be coming on into the Metro, so we'll get a live update from the western sides of the Metro from them. And then again, we've also got our other storm tracker, Aaron Spencer. Now, he's still on the northern sides of the Metro, I believe. He might still be up around the Guthrie area. We're going to quickly check his stream and just get an update. He had this rollover accident. Again, this is just south of Guthrie. And Aaron, give us an update on that, but also give us an update on the type of drizzle you're seeing right now. Is it still as thick as it was earlier? And how are the road conditions there on the far northern sides of the Oklahoma City Metro?
Yes, William. The drizzle right now is very, very light, but the roadways are pretty slick as well. As earlier, the trooper was taking off to go back south on I-35. His tires did spin a couple times. The traffic coming through here right now going south, they're definitely using the caution they should be using. They're going a lot slower than, you know, normally, like the other time that we were chasing just the other day. You know, they weren't really exercising the caution that they needed to be, but they are definitely doing it this time. We're going to be moving south here soon, though, because we do have another wreck over in Edmond off of East 15th Street, so we'll give you a live update as soon as we get there. Okay,
Aaron, good job on that. And yeah, I mean, feel free if you need to go and get going on that. Absolutely. And like I said, Mike and Jesse, they're about to be moving as well. We also have Derick Mashaney. He's out in far western Oklahoma, out around, I believe he's out there looking at his GPS here, out around Hinton. So we're going to be checking in with him coming up here in just a second. And in fact, Derick, you may be on the live line with us now. Out there as well. And we'll go and take a look at your video. I think you're out around Hinton, looks like where your GPS is. If you're on the live line, go and tell us where you are now. Give us an update, and we'll take a look at your video here in just a second as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm up Bethel Road and I-40 heading east towards the Metro. I do have some freezing drizzle is in progress. Definitely nothing like we're seeing in Yukon up in that direction. The road conditions are moderate. I mean, there's nothing slick right now that I can tell. But still, to be on the safe side, if you are heading towards the Metro and you are driving through the Hinton area, please be careful on the roads because ice, you can't always see it. But at this moment, everything looks to be elevated, other than we are starting to get a little bit of freezing drizzle coming through.
And what, and is it fairly light out there? Again, like I said, it's so hard to, once you get away from the radar, so hard to detect the intensity of the drizzle. And again, you know, kind of being removed out there into parts of west central Oklahoma. I mean, what is the quality of the drizzle? So in other words, it's fairly thick here, at least in central Oklahoma. What are you seeing out there in western Oklahoma exactly?
Right now, it's light. It's not amounted to what you guys are currently seeing up in the Yukon area, but I mean it is coming down, and so right now there's not a tremendous amount falling, other than it is there. Okay, really appreciate that update. And again, that's Derick Mashaney. You're looking at Aaron Spencer's video again. He just had the rollover accident there on the northern sides of the Metro, up really just south of the Guthrie area. He's actually on his way to another accident. We're going to check back in with him coming up here again in just a second. But also we've got Mike and Jesse, our other team of trackers. That looks like they're still on the western sides of the Metro. And again, we're kind of bouncing between live videos. So again, on radar, I just want to kind of recap this one more time. When you're talking about drizzle, it just does not show up very well on radar. So we don't really have a lot of radar products to put up to go along with this. But again, this is a good example. As you're looking at, again, Aaron's video coming in, you can see the fairly heavy drizzle. See that showing up in between wiper strokes there, again, as he's driving. So again, this is fairly thick drizzle that's showing up on his windshield. You know, again, and there it is right there. See the little smattering, see how quickly that builds up?
And again, everything is freezing. And we're right in the lower 20s here in central Oklahoma as far as actual temperatures go. So again, that adds up and that builds up fairly quickly. And again, as we're maybe now about 2 to maybe 3 hours into some freezing drizzle here in the metro, again, the slick spots, they are now starting to develop. So we just want to really underscore this one more time. I know it's Saturday morning. You know, if you don't have to get out and about, you know, really the bottom line is don't do it. I mean, I understand some people, unfortunately, you do have to get out. You may need to do something. There may be an emergency. It's whatever. I understand that. But again, if you don't have to get out and about, best case right now is don't do it, especially in the Oklahoma City Metro. Traveler's advisory officially from the National Weather Service is in effect. And again, it all has to do with this freezing drizzle. A lot of times freezing drizzle can really be worst case because, you know, just like Aaron, you see him, he's driving along fine. You know, he's probably going right about the speed limit, maybe just a little bit under. You think everything's going fine, but all it takes is just that one slick spot. It takes that one slick spot, and then you unfortunately have some type of accident. And again, that's what we just saw a second ago with this video, again with the car that was overturned, unfortunately, there just south of Guthrie. And then, like I said, even in the Oklahoma City area, the metro proper, again, I-235 and 23rd Street, you know, there was a fairly decent wreck there earlier. We're getting reports out there on I-40. Mike and Jesse are checking on that for us right now. And then also over around the Hefner Parkway, getting reports of some slowdowns there as well. So, you know, the roads, they're not going to be ice covered. It's not going to be anything like that. But again, it's just going to be those slick spots that do develop that kind of catch you off guard or catches the car next to you off guard. And again, unfortunately, in these situations, that's where the accidents come from. So we're still looking at Aaron's video. We're going to get right back to Mike and Jesse here in a second. But Aaron, as we're looking at your video, traffic moving fairly smoothly there. I believe you're on I-35. Tell us, I mean, have you encountered any slick spots? And again, how's the traffic moving there coming into the Oklahoma City Metro?
Yes, William, we are just to the north of Edmond right now. We are just passing exit 143, Covell Road. Traffic seems to be moving pretty smooth, as you said. I did encounter just a little bit of slickness on the roads as we were pulling off of that wreck. But as of right now, you know, there is a lot of ice freezing over on the windshield, so we're having to constantly keep the heater on to keep the windows defrosted enough. But other than that, the traffic is really smooth right now. You know, they're still showing the caution that it need to be, but no further wrecks as of right now.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update. We're going to get right back to him here in just a second as well. We'll be checking back in with Mike and Jesse, our other team of trackers, and also Derick Mashaney, who's in West Central Oklahoma. We're going to be talking with him here in just a minute as well. But what I want to do, I want to go to the weather computer here real quick. And a couple things I want to talk about and to show you guys here as well. We're going to get right back to the tracker video here momentarily. But again, this is our downtown Oklahoma City cam, right? So it's completely, this is a solid glaze over the downtown Oklahoma City cam. You can't see anything because on the little glass ball around the camera, it's completely iced over. Our North Norman cam is also completely iced over as well. So again, this freezing drizzle, it is starting to add up. You know, obviously the elevated exposed surfaces, that's truly what freezing drizzle is. It's actually liquid water, but it freezes on contact to a surface that's cooled enough or is chilled enough from the surrounding air temperatures. So, and that's what we're seeing with this right here. That's also one of the things with the bridges and overpasses. That's one of the reasons they go downhill so quick, is because as the air circulates around them, they become super cooled, colder or more chilled than the surrounding ground or road temperatures. And again, that's why as it basically falls and almost freezes on contact there as well, and you get those slick spots. But that's basically what's going on out there. But it's only 21 degrees. So, I mean, again, if you are out and about today, if for any reason there was some type of issue that you were involved in and you had to be outdoors, it's only 21. The wind chill factor, it's only +8, 8 degrees above zero. These are dangerously cold temperatures. It doesn't take long exposed to those type of temperatures for hypothermia to kick in, again, if you don't have multiple layers on. So you have to keep that in mind. These are more live numbers now around the state. Again, live actual air temperatures, basically from +9 out there in the Oklahoma Panhandle, 10 to 12 there in northwestern parts of the state, right around 20, give or take, here in central Oklahoma. And the temperature is just a little bit milder down in far southeastern Oklahoma, where again, it's taken that cold front a little bit longer to move through there. Again, 19 to 20 here in central Oklahoma, right around 23 in the Tulsa Metro. And again, here are the wind chills. This is the other map I really wanted to show here. These are dangerously, and I really want to stress that, dangerously cold wind chills here. So from the Oklahoma Panhandle into northwestern Oklahoma, you're basically seeing from -2 to -6 wind chills. So we're sub-zero on the wind chills there. And then basically from 0 to right around 10 here in central Oklahoma. Again, wind chills not as much of a factor in southeastern parts of the state because the cold front is moving through there now. But again, if you are out and about, if heaven forbid there was some type of accident to happen, again, this is the other thing we're dealing with out there today. It is the bitterly and dangerously cold temperatures. We don't get temperatures like this very often in Oklahoma. You know, typically it might happen, you know, once a year, something like that. But these are cold, and we have to keep that in mind. So you have to make sure you are dressed in layers. You're prepared for these air temperatures. Again, if you are out and about as we go through the day today, again, because there are some slick spots out there, again, with that freezing drizzle in progress. And again, we are getting those reports of accidents around the metro as well. I want to go back to Aaron Spencer, then we're going to get out to Mike and Jesse. But this is Aaron Spencer's live video. He's coming into the metro. He's not in Guthrie anymore. And Aaron, we're looking at your video. It looks like that freezing drizzle, it still continues to pick up in intensity. It's looking thicker and thicker, but go and give us a live update.
Yes, William, we're just now in Edmond. We just passed 15th Street. We're coming up, we're just coming up on 15th Street right now. I can see some red and blues up ahead of us. We're actually going to get off here at 15th Street and go up past the Mercy Clinic up here in Edmond, and we'll give you an update as soon as possible. But the road conditions are still deteriorating, and the drizzle is starting to get just a little bit heavier right now.
Okay, Aaron, really appreciate that update. Great job, again, on the northern sides of the metro. Aaron had the rollover accident, unfortunately, just south of Guthrie. That was probably 30 minutes ago. We have more of our trackers out there, again, as we're going through the morning here. This is also from Yukon. This is where Mike and Jesse are. I quickly want to check in with them, and then we're going to talk to Derick Mashaney in just a second. Derick Mashaney, you may check your video because right now it looks like it's stalled. We're going to talk to you in a second, but I want to get your video up as well. So Mike and Jesse, they're in Yukon. They've had a few slick spots out around the Yukon area. Looks like they're starting to move now. They're going to get on I-40, start tracking into the western sides of the metro. But Mike, I believe you're on the live line with us. Go and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We're still in the Yukon area. Had to make a brief pit stop here. But I can tell you across this parking lot that I just walked across, even the parking lot has a light layer of ice on it right now. And this is an asphalt parking lot here in Yukon. So road conditions are definitely going to be going down quickly, William. That is for sure. So again, if you're out on the roadways, have to be out, please take your time, be careful. And if you don't have to get out, do not get out. It is going to become more and more icy as this weather event continues to unfold, William.
Really great advice, Mike. Great advice there. So again, out there in Yukon, again, he's going to be on the western sides of the Oklahoma City Metro very shortly, probably within about 5 minutes. We've had a report of an accident out on I-40, so you guys will be checking in on that. Again, we've got Aaron Spencer in the Edmond area. He had a rollover accident south of Guthrie about 30 minutes ago. He's now in Edmond checking on some conditions there. Also, we've got Derick Mashaney, and he's out in west central Oklahoma. And it looks like his video may still be locked up, and we may have actually lost him off the live line for a minute. He might be working on that. So we're going to check back in with the Derick Mashaney coming back in just a second here. So we're just kind of flipping between our tracker video. And again, the main reason, a lot of times when we do weather coverage, we put the radar up and we kind of jumble them back and forth between the live video and the radar. I think Derick's on the live line. Again, we're going to check in with him in a second. But the thing with Drizzle, it's a lot of times it doesn't necessarily show up that well on radar unless it's right around the radar site. So we're not really able to show too much with radar today. We're really depending on our trackers in the field to truly show where the freezing drizzle is occurring right now. So I want to do this. I want to check in with Derick Mashaney. He's out, looks like you're out on the Hinton exit by your GPS there, Derick. If you can, check your video. I think your video may still be frozen, but give us a live update from out in the Hinton area. Again, that's on the far western sides of the Oklahoma City Metro, basically out on the county line around Canadian County. Derick, go ahead.
Yeah, we are currently up around the Canadian River, heading I-40 east, just a few miles east of Hinton. Right now, the road conditions are fair. We have not seen any some spots asking for improve. I'm still getting just a very light drizzle as far as rain is concerned. People do seem to be taking it up.
Hey, real quick, Mike, are we seeing actual slush? It's hard to see from your video, but is that actual slush on the road where you are? Or is that just the color of the roadway? We're looking at Mike's live video, as he's exiting back on. But that's not slush, is it? That's just the color of the roadway. It's kind of hard to tell, only because of kind of how dark the video is, again, with all the cloud cover. But yeah, that wasn't, for a minute, it looked like slush that he was on. I was going to say, there's just no way it could be that thick there. So, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Derek, but I literally saw that out of the corner of my eye, and I wanted to kind of verify that real quick. But go ahead, Derek.
Hey, no problem, no problem. Everything here as far as heading from Mashaney east for fixing Fury with Tonga exit up here by the Cherokee Trading Post. Things look good at the moment. I've just got a very light drizzle coming down. Obviously you guys up in that direction are getting a little bit more than what we are currently here, but that does not mean that we won't be or could not get a very heavy amount of freezing rain. So I will say, if you are traveling I-40 east, especially from Kent, Weatherford, Elk City, those directions, just be careful. Keep your caution levels on the highway. Just be aware that there could be at any moment on the bridges patched of ice. But currently at this time, things look pretty good.
Okay, Derek, really appreciate that update. And there's his live GPS on radar. So when we're talking about Derek, and you may check your video again one more time. It looks like it was just frozen up, but there's Derek. He's out there on the Hinton exit on I-40. Again, Mike and Jesse now coming in on the western sides of the metro. And we've also got Aaron Spencer. We'll check his GPS, but he's up around the Edmond area. So basically the team of trackers now in the Oklahoma City metro. And again, like I said, we're looking at radar. So this is what I'm talking about. A lot of times drizzle is very hard to pick up on radar, again, because the particulates are so small. You're kind of seeing that smattering of wintry weather colors, the purples and the peaches. Again, that's the radar just letting us know that, again, yes, there is some fine precipitation showing up out there, but again, you kind of get away from the radar sites. You get out there in west central Oklahoma, you get north of the metro, and again, you're really not able to pick it up that well on radar. And again, that's why these storm trackers are so important. Again, we're ground verifying and getting in detail in real time exactly what's going on out there. Also live road conditions with them as well. And again, just like we saw with Aaron here across portions of Logan County, again, this was probably maybe 30, 45 minutes ago now. Again, we have the one rollover, unfortunate accident up there on I-35. So again, just to kind of underscore one more time, the roads are not going to be coated in ice. For the most part, it looks like traffic is moving fairly smoothly around most of Oklahoma, but don't be caught off guard by these, because there are patches of ice around. And again, all it takes is really one slick spot. It takes one slick spot, again, for things to kind of turn into a bad day, and that's what we don't want to happen. So again, if you don't have to get out and about this morning, the best thing to do basically is just try and stay home and stay warm, because the other thing we're dealing with here, these white numbers, and we'll look at live numbers, live temperatures here in just a second, it's the air temperatures. Again, if you are outside, out and about, and heaven forbid something were to happen, we have wind chills from basically the -5s in northwestern Oklahoma to right around 10 here in central Oklahoma. So again, these are dangerously cold temperatures, again, even outside of that freezing drizzle and the deteriorating road conditions here in central Oklahoma as well. So what I want to do, I want to go back to our storm trackers, because this is really what it's all about today. It's really all about their live video and them showing us, again, in real time what's going on. Because you're looking at radar, and again, you can see from radar, there's just not a lot showing up. There's not a lot we can do with that, again, with drizzle on a day like today. The other thing I want to show real quickly here as well, I do want to show our live cams, and then we'll get back to our trackers. This is our downtown Oklahoma City cam, completely frozen. If you're familiar with this cam, you would know this would generally be the Oklahoma City skyline right here. That is the Devon building. You can barely make it out, but again, this is a coating of ice basically over this camera, the little glass ball around the camera coated in ice. And even our North Norman cam, basically at Flood Street and I-35, it is also coated up as well. And this is the North Norman cam. In fact, you can kind of even see the texture of the ice there on that cam. So again, that's basically the story around the metro. Here's what I want to do. I want to go back against our team of trackers. Like I said, it's all about the video today, basically ground verifying where the drizzle is, the intensity of it, and again, any possible traffic impacts or snarls, again, from the active wintry precipitation. So Aaron Spencer, he's back on the live line here with us, and we're looking at his video. He's in the Edmond area there. And Aaron, go and give us a live update. Tell us exactly where you are now and tell us what's going on.
Yes, William. I am just south of East 15th Street. We're looking at I-35 north and southbound lanes. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is a wrecker right just to the north of us. They're waiting to pick up a white SUV that looks like it hit the light pole, and it did some pretty good significant damage to it.
Yeah, I think we can kind of make it out there. I mean, you can kind of see the blinking lights there. We're not really able to see the actual vehicle, but we can kind of see the blinking lights there, kind of off in the distance. What about the actual drizzle, kind of the quality of the drizzle where you are right now? Again, I know earlier it was actually thickening up here in the metro. Just looking from our studio cam here in Norman, looks like it might be trying to ease down just a little bit. But up there in the Edmond area, what exactly the quality of the drizzle? What are you seeing up there?
Yes, William. The drizzle is still very light here. You can see it on the windshield, but it's not enough to turn on the windshield wipers unless you're heading on down the road, and then it gets a little bit heavier, and then you're going to have to turn on the windshield wipers and probably keep your heat on just enough to keep the ice from thickening on the windshield.
Got it. Let me do this. I want to switch over to Mike and Jesse. And Aaron, really appreciate that update. You're doing a great job out there. Mike and Jesse, they're on I-40, and it looks like maybe more they are. It looks like maybe the drizzle's easing up just a little bit. Again, it got fairly thick about 30 minutes ago. It really thickened up. It even thickened up here in Norman. And it looks like, I mean, just kind of looking at their windshield, it doesn't look as smattered. But Mike, you're out there in it. You guys are still tracking east on I-40. You're basically coming in now to the western sides of the metro. Give us a live update and tell us what you guys are seeing out there.
Yes, William. We're actually at I-40 and Council Road right now. And one of the things we're noting out here, William, is the bridges. I-40 itself is not too bad, except for the bridges. We just crossed the South Canadian River, or the North Canadian River, right here, just on the west side of Council Road. And that bridge, William, was completely white and nothing but a sheet of ice. So the bridges and overpasses are going to be very slick, very hazardous. The drizzle has come down a little bit in intensity. We're not having to kick on our wipers near as much. But again, the secondary roads are also going to be icing over pretty intensely, pretty quick, just because of our low temperatures right now. But the bridges are definitely slick right now, and I'd go ahead and say slick and hazardous. And another thing I'd like to touch on, William, if I can real quickly, before you get on the roadways, please make sure your windshields are cleared. We're seeing a lot of people that are driving with just a little hole to look through in their windshield, and that is extremely dangerous out here. So please make sure you're clearing your windshields if you have to get out and travel these roadways, William.
Okay, getting reports here. It looks like I-240 in Western, and then also I-240 in Eastern. Look at Western and Eastern, but actually it is I-240 in Western, then also out on Eastern. We're getting reports of accidents now as well. So there's still sporadic accidents now being reported around the Oklahoma City Metro. Earlier in the morning, we had reports of basically I-235 and 23rd Street, and then also the Hefner Parkway. Still reports of some slowdowns around the Hefner Parkway. So we're tracking that carefully. Again, our team of trackers, they're out. Again, we have Mike and Jesse on the western sides of the metro. We've got Aaron Spencer on the northern sides of the metro. And then out kind of in west central Oklahoma, out on the Hinton exit of I-40, that's where we've got Derick Mashaney. And Derick, I want to check back in with you. Your video still looks like frozen. We're not getting any video from Derick Mashaney, but he's out on the Hinton exit of I-40, which is just west of the Oklahoma City Metro. Derick, I want to get an update from you because, again, I-40, obviously there's a lot of folks always traveling on I-40, but what are the conditions like out there? Check your video again and give us an update with what it is you're seeing. And actually, Derick, looks like we're getting your video in now. So I'm actually going to switch over to your video. Give us an update from out there around the Hinton exit.
Yeah, no problem. And I apologize, the video quality is not as where I want it to be at the moment. We're still pretty clear out here. We're basically coming up on the Calumet exit. We're about 8 miles from Colby. I've still got a very light freezing drizzle going on, and basically everything seems to be clear at the moment. People in the traffic are taking their precautions. But as Mike said a while ago, I am noticing a lot of drivers just driving with a single store full in their window before it's frozen over. So yes, if you are out and about, make sure you do clear your windshield because that can be an extreme hazard, not only for you, but for the people that are around you. You know, you got to think about everybody that's out and taking care of business. Right now, everything looks fairly clear. We have not come across any ice patches yet. We're still working our way up towards the Metro. So once we do kind of get that direction, I am going to assume that there's going to be slick roads. Right now, we're doing pretty good.
Okay, really appreciate that update. Good job out there, Derick Mashaney. Video, it's a little bit in and out, but he's doing the best he can, again, coming on into the Metro. Let me ask you one other quick question, Derick, while we have you on the live line here as well. What is the quality of the drizzle? Again, that's kind of the big question. At least here in central Oklahoma, it picked up, it got fairly thick. But again, kind of where you are, it's pretty hard to tell on radar. We really can't base it off of radar, so we really kind of need your kind of expert opinion there. As I'm looking at your windshield, it doesn't look like it's really kind of smattering up too much there. The video is still kind of in and out, but just tell us exactly the intensity of the drizzle. Is it fairly light, or is it thickening up the further east you get?
It is light at the moment, but I have noticed that we are starting to thicken up a little bit. I've also got a lot of fog due to my north and south. And so we are driving into fog at the moment, and a lot of that may be due to coming into that. But yes, it is. We are starting to thicken up. I know my passenger side very far window is actually starting to freeze just a little bit, and so that's what we're kind of dealing with right now. But I think as we get farther east, we are initially going to obviously start seeing a heavier amount of precipitation. Especially in the windshield. But at the moment, it's kind of varied between light and moderate, depending on kind of where we're at. So that's what we're looking at right now.
Okay, got it. And really appreciate that update there as well. Doing a great job out there, Derick Mashaney. Really all of our storm trackers. Again, we've got Mike and Jesse on the western sides of the Metro. We're going to talk to them coming up here in just a second. Also, Aaron Spencer up around the Edmond area against our entire team of trackers. Again, they are out and about again this morning. So again, basically covering the road conditions, and just like we've kind of talked about a little bit here throughout the morning. I know we've got a lot of folks now joining us here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, basically covering freezing drizzle that is now ongoing, especially here in the Oklahoma City Metro, but also in other parts of Oklahoma as well. There's a traveler's advisory, a winter weather advisory in effect, basically from central Oklahoma all the way down through the Ardmore area. It's in effect because of this freezing drizzle. It got fairly thick about an hour ago. It might be easing back just a little bit now, but there's still freezing drizzle in progress. There's been multiple accidents, unfortunately, reported in the Oklahoma City Metro. In fact, our Aaron Spencer just south of Guthrie, he had a rollover accident. That was probably 45 minutes to an hour ago now. But again, kind of the bottom line is if you don't have to get out and about in this weather, don't do it. It's a little bit deceiving because it's just a drizzle. Traffic, for the most part, when you look at it, looks like it's moving okay, but it's just that slick spot or two. It's just that slick spot or two that's out there. That's all it takes for either you or the car next to you to kind of end up having a bad day. So not a good deal. But as we take a look at Mesoscan radar, this is kind of the other thing we're dealing with here. It's when you're talking about drizzle, it's so fine that it just doesn't really show up on radar that well. And as we're kind of zoomed into central Oklahoma, again, if you look carefully here, you can kind of see the purples and the peaches showing up, kind of letting us know that, yeah, there's possibly some drizzle going on, but you get away from the radar site, like we're talking about where Derick Mashaney is out there in west central Oklahoma, it's not necessarily showing up on radar. So again, that's why we need our storm trackers out there, again, with their live video to ground verify on a day like today on exactly what's going on. So if you're maybe trying to watch somebody else who doesn't have storm trackers out there today, they weren't getting up early and braving the cold like our guys were, they truly don't know what's going on out there. But again, we're ground verifying what's going on here, again, live on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. Now, the other important thing that we're dealing with today, it is the temperatures out there. Of course, that polar cold front moved through overnight. And what I want to do, I want to take a look at live wind chills. We'll take a look at live temperatures here in a minute as well. But this is the other major story today. It is these wind chills, and they're dangerously cold across Oklahoma. So we're talking about wind chills sub-zero or negative wind chills, basically from the panhandle up into portions of northwestern Oklahoma, -2 to -6 for your wind chill factor, anywhere from 0 to right around 10 here in central Oklahoma. Wind chill's a little bit, at least not as big of a factor down in southeastern Oklahoma. That's where the cold front's still moving through there. But again, where the freezing drizzle's in progress, central Oklahoma, portions of west central Oklahoma, you can see it. For any reason you became stalled out or, for some reason your car, the heat wasn't on, we don't want to say what's going to happen, but for any reason that were to happen, it would not be good. That's the other thing you have to keep in mind. If you are going to be out and about at all today, you have to make sure you're dressed in layers. You have to make sure you're dressed in layers. You know, exposed skin, or if you're just not dressed appropriately for the conditions, you don't have your coat on, you don't have things like that, and you are exposed to these temperatures, these wind chills, it doesn't take long for hypothermia to set in. Of course, we don't talk about this very often in Oklahoma. It seems like, you know, once a year we normally get a pretty cold day like today. I mean, it does happen generally once a year, but it doesn't happen very often. So, you know, that's why we're just trying to remind you of the things you need to wear and the things you need to be doing if for any reason, you know, you are going to be getting out and about in these conditions, at least as we go through the morning, especially with the freezing drizzle that is in progress right now. I want to take a look at actual air temperatures here quickly as well. And again, you can basically see we're in the single digits to right around 20 in central Oklahoma. You can see where that cold front is still pushing through portions of southeastern Oklahoma. Temperatures are still in the 40s down around the Ida Bell area. So really what we're tracking, let's go back to our storm trackers here. And really what we're tracking this morning, it's all about the freezing drizzle, at least here in central Oklahoma. And we've got our storm trackers basically in the Oklahoma City Metro and also in west central Oklahoma. We're basically just going to kind of check in with them and kind of go through the reel here. Now, this is up in the Edmond area, first of all, and this is where Aaron Spencer is. And again, like I mentioned, probably about 45 minutes ago, he did have the rollover accident. It was just south of Guthrie, single car rollover on I-35. Again, not a good situation there, but he's now in the Edmond area. And Aaron, you're on the live line here with us. Go and tell us exactly where you are now and to go ahead and give us a live update as well.
Yes, William, we are on southeast 33rd off of I-35. We're just about to get on the I-35 interstate, but as of right now, traffic is starting to slow down quite a bit. The drizzle is still about as, you know, it's still really light, but most of the pavement and roadways and the gas stations and things like that are getting really, really slick.
Are they? It seems like, yeah, we were talking about this a few minutes ago. It seems like any location, whether it's, you know, like a parking lot or something like that, where the concrete isn't as thick as a normal roadway because it's becoming super cooled and chilled down quickly, again, with these Arctic temperatures now across Oklahoma, that, again, this freezing drizzle is starting to kind of stick on contact there. So definitely slick spots, especially on those parking lots. No doubt about it. Mike and Jesse, they were talking about that in Yukon just a little bit earlier this morning as well. I want to go to Mike and Jesse. And speaking of parking lots, looks like they're maybe pulling through a Walmart. Hopefully they're not stopping right now in Walmart, but let's go and get a live update from Mike and Jesse. I think they're just pulling through the parking lot there. Guys, tell us where you are right now. I don't think you're still in Yukon. We can update that. Tell us where you are now and give us a live update. Mike, if you're on the live line with us. Okay, we may need to check back in with Mike coming up here in just a second. We may not have him on the live line right this second, but again, they're in the western sides of the Oklahoma City Metro. I think they're right off of I-40. Just kind of looking at their video there, pulling through a parking lot. Again, they were earlier kind of assessing a parking lot out in the Yukon area as well. And Mike, are you on the live line with us? Okay, so we've got their live video. We're going to check back in with them coming up here in just a second. So you kind of see them pulling through there. Let me do this. I also want to go out to Derick Mashaney. So he's on the far western sides of the Oklahoma City Metro. In fact, he's been out around the Hinton exit, and he's kind of tracking eastbound towards central Oklahoma as well, towards the Oklahoma City Metro. And Derick, you're on the live line with us here. Go ahead and give us a live update. Tell us where you are now. I think you might be east of that Hinton exit, but tell us where you are now and go and give us a live update.
Yeah, we are currently approximately a few miles just east of El Reno on Highway 81. Everything right now looks pretty leveled out. There's nothing intense here. Traffic, again, on our side, heading east, they are taking precautions. It is a little bit overwhelmed as far as heading west, but the freezing drizzle right now is not as heavy as what it is up towards Yukon. So it is very, very light. So far, that's what I have.
Okay, so you're just kind of now getting into it. So it's fairly light, again, coming in from western Oklahoma. So again, Weatherford, kind of the Hinton exits out there on I-40. No major travel impacts yet, fairly light drizzle, but again, slow down and exercise caution. Again, this freezing drizzle can go a long ways, as we've already seen here in central Oklahoma. Let me do this here as well. We're going to get back to Mike and Jesse momentarily. But I want to go back to Aaron Spencer. He's in Edmond, and really what we're doing, folks, we're flipping between our storm trackers a little bit more than we normally would. And again, the main reason for that is we're just having to ground verify what's going on. Again, freezing drizzle doesn't show up very well on radar. So I mean, we can kind of see there's a smattering on radar around central Oklahoma. We know there's some freezing drizzle in progress, but we don't really know the intensity or the quality of the drizzle and exactly the impacts. And that's why on a day like today, it's really important to have your storm trackers out, which we do, all around the metro, feeding us in this live video so we can see what's going on, but again, also in real time telling us what's going on, because on a day like today, we just cannot rely on radar that much. So now as we're back in the northern sides of the metro, up around the Edmond area, again, this is where Aaron Spencer is. Aaron, we're looking at your live video. Tell us where you are now and go and give us another live update.
Yes, William. We are actually on the south part of Edmond and the north part of Oklahoma City right now, passing Frontier City. We're only going, I'd say, probably about 45 to 50 miles an hour right now on the interstate, which is good, which means people are definitely exercising caution. They're paying attention to the signs that are telling you that as well. The drizzle is starting to pick up just a little bit. We're starting to get a little bit of freezing drizzle on the windshield. And we haven't seen any more wrecks, actually. I take that back. There's one. Looks like there might be one heading northbound on I-35 just past Frontier City. Okay,
and then again, that's just another reminder to slow down. I-240, there's still, and just to kind of recap on that as well, reports earlier of actually Western and I-240, kind of the western sides of it at Western, and then also Eastern, which is going to be out there closer to Tinker. I-240 and Eastern, there was also a possible accident there. We had reports earlier this morning of I-235 and 23rd Street of an accident, also some slowdowns on the Hefner Parkway. Again, Aaron Spencer live on the channel also had just south of Guthrie around Seward Road, we had the single car rollover. Again, that was probably about an hour ago. So, so as we're looking at the tracker video, things are slowing down. For the most part, it can be a little deceiving because, again, traffic in general is running pretty smoothly. But the problem is, just like we've been saying all morning, it's that slick spot or two that develops out there that either you or the car next to you happens to run across. That's what causes you to have a bad day. And unfortunately, we've seen that already once live, and then we're getting the reports of the other accidents around town as well. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and we just kind of talked to Aaron there. We're looking at his live video still. I want to go back to Mike and Jesse, and they're on the western sides of the metro. And let's see, I think he's back on the live line with us now. Mike, if you're there, go and give us a live update and tell us where you guys are right now.
Hey, I just got an update, William. They're having some technical issues.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so we got Derick Mashaney. He's also out there. He's around the Hinton area. We'll go and take a look at his live video. Derick, go and tell us where you are now. I know you're coming in now to the western sides of the metro. We've got your video up here now as well. But tell us what's going on and give us a live update.
Absolutely. So we're just right on North Banner Road on 540 coming into Yukon, probably 5 miles or so. Currently, the road conditions are still level. Traffic is pretty steady. I mean, we're running right now about 60. So, people are still exercising their precautions. But we're noticing that if you are heading into the metro, really any part of Oklahoma, I really advise you not to get out.
Hey, I'm going to do this real quick, Derick. I hate to cut you off. I'm going to go back to Aaron. Looks like he's got a wreck right there, and that's probably on the northbound side. Aaron, I've got your video up. Go ahead and tell us exactly where you are and go and give us a live update on that. And Aaron, if you're there, we've got your video up. Just go and tell us exactly, kind of tell us where you are and go and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We're just to the north of exit 135 Britton Road on I-35, headed southbound. In the northbound lanes, there is I think a single to double vehicle accident. There is one truck turned around. It's facing southbound, and then just to the north of that, there is a tractor trailer. But I'm not exactly sure what happened here because it did happen before we got here. But we can definitely tell that there is some front-end damage on that truck that we're looking at right now as the Highway Patrol is just now pulling up to the scene.
And tell us again exactly where that is. I may have missed it. Are you still on I-35, or tell us exactly where that is?
Yes, we're on I-35 south just before Britton Road, which is going to be exit 135.
Okay. Okay. Great job. Great job. So again, this is just another. To happen. So what I want to do, I want to go and check back in with the Aaron Spencer. He's still kind of right there at the scene, and it's still kind of a fluid situation there. But Aaron, go and give us another live update and tell us again exactly where you are there as well.
Yes, William. We're just again to the north of Britton Road, which is going to be exit 135 on South I-35 headed towards Oklahoma City. There is one vehicle, as of right now, one vehicle accident. I'm guessing it looks like it hit the inside barrier and spun itself around, and then there's some front end damage to it right now, but it also looks like there might be another wreck just to the south of this one as well, right on the bridge going under Britton Road.
Okay, really appreciate that update. So we're going to check in with the rest of our team of trackers here as well. I want to kind of leave Aaron's video up again because that's kind of active video right there. Again, we've got Derick Mashaney coming in now on the western sides of the metro. We also have Mike and Jesse out on the western sides of the metro as well. And what I want to do, I want to check in with Derick Mashaney first. Again, we're going to leave Aaron's video up. And again, this is, basically in the Edmond area near Britton Road and I-35. Again, right now, this is a report of at least a single car accident. There could be another accident on down the road. Again, just to kind of reiterate, really, as we've gone through the morning, this has kind of been the case. Things look a little deceptive out there. Traffic is running along fairly smoothly. But then again, as soon as you hit that slick spot or that car next to you hits the slick spot, unfortunately, this is what happens right here. And again, we've had reports of maybe up to 10 to 12 accidents around the Oklahoma City Metro. This is the second one we brought you live here in Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. And we don't like doing this. I can tell you that right now. Bringing you live accidents is not the way we like to spend our Saturday morning. But it drives home the point that, again, you really don't need to be out and about this morning if you don't have to be. Because, again, unfortunately, this is what can happen when we're talking about freezing drizzle. The roads are not coated in ice. It's nothing like that at all. But this freezing drizzle is adding up in certain areas. And those certain areas are starting to develop some ice. And you don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. But, when you hit it or the car next to you hits it, that's when it turns into a bad day. And that's why these are almost, worst case, because for the most part, the traffic's moving along fine until you do hit that piece of ice, that piece of black ice. And then, like I said, it's just a bad day. So we just really want to kind of underscore it and drive it home that, again, if you don't have to get out and about today, or at least this morning, definitely stay home and stay warm. So with all that being said, we do have Derick Mashaney again. He's on the western sides of the metro. We're going to leave Aaron's video up for right now. But Derick, go and give us a live update. Tell us where you are and tell us what you're seeing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just right at exit 138, Mustang Road, I-40, heading east to the metro. Traffic is not real heavy at the moment, but everybody seems to be taking still their speed precautions as the front comes in and still moving in. So right now, we're just getting very light freezing drizzle. Nothing too intense. So far, that's what I have.
Okay, Derick, really appreciate that. And again, so that's Derick Mashaney. He's coming into the western sides of the metro. We're leaving Aaron Spencer's video up. He's in the Edmond area. Now, Mike and Jesse, they're also on, well, tell us where you are, guys. I believe you're out there on I-40 on the western sides of the metro as well. Mike, we're going to leave Aaron's video up here, but I want you to go ahead and give us an update. Tell us where you are exactly and tell us what you're seeing there on the western sides of the metro.
Yes, William. We are actually coming up on the I-40-240 junction, and we're going to be cutting south, William, on 240. But what we're noting here right now is actually, William, the road conditions seem to be improving a little bit. The parking lot there at MacArthur was not that bad whatsoever. In fact, it was just wet. It wasn't icy like what we were seeing in Yukon. So maybe road conditions are getting a little bit better here. We're not seeing the ice build up on I-40 that we were earlier, like in the Yukon Mustang area. But we're about to get on 240 here and see if the road conditions are south. But I can say we've seen ODOT crews out now spreading the salt, spreading the sand already. And so that is a good thing. We're seeing them out. People are taking it much slower here that we can see, and being very cautious. In fact, as we're coming on to 240 here, 240 kind of way slowed down compared to I-40 even. But everyone's just taking it easy. Looks like everyone's leaving plenty of space here. So hopefully everyone's heeding the warnings. But we're not getting the freezing drizzle that we were earlier as far as intensity. So that may be why the road conditions are kind of improving here on the western sides of the metro, William.
That would be good, Mike. I tell you, there's a chance that some of this drizzle could start to lift. And again, we're talking with Mike. He's on the western sides of the metro. We're looking at Aaron Spencer's video. We're going to talk to him in a minute. And again, this is another, an unfortunate accident that, again, this is basically in the Edmond area, Britton Road and I-35, kind of far north Oklahoma City, Edmond area. And again, it looks like, I believe Aaron said this was another single car accident. And Mike, just for your information, down there on I-240 about 30 minutes ago, we did have a report of an accident at I-240 in Western, and then there was another report at I-240 in Eastern out there by Tinker, or close to the Tinker diagonal area, of an accident there as well. So as you're getting your way down there through 240, you might be running across something as well. Derick Mashaney, I want to check in with you. I think I just heard you there on the live line. Let us know if you have something as well. Derick Mashaney's on the far western sides of the metro, so we're just sticking with one video, and we have trackers around the city. Right now, we're just kind of sticking with the active video. But Derick Mashaney, go and give us a live update as well from where you are.
So basically, we are at past the North Canadian River Bridge, just right up here by Council Road and I-40. At the moment, we're still looking pretty clear. Can't really see if there's ice on the road right now, but everybody is keeping a pretty good car distance behind each other and in front of each other. Traffic is not necessarily slowed down, but we're running about 55, 60. We are getting not necessarily a heavy drizzle, but we are starting to see a little bit more than what we did coming into the metro, El Reno and Yukon. So it is there, but it's not yet.
Okay, Derick, really appreciate that update. So again, he's on the western sides of the metro. I want to check back in with Aaron Spencer. This is the video that we've been looking at, the live video here. Again, this is up by Britton and I-35. Again, just another unfortunate accident that we've had here on the channel this morning. But Aaron, go and give us an update. I think we just saw EMSA leaving the scene there maybe just 2 minutes ago, but give us a live update on that accident.
Yeah, that's correct, William. EMSA did just leave. Nobody was transported from the scene. But, you know, the scene right here, as of right now, they're still trying to work it out. The trooper did go up to the other person that was involved in the wreck. It was a tractor trailer carrying train wheels. So now we figured out what that vehicle did hit. But I still think there is another wreck just to the south of this one, but traffic is definitely backed up for quite some ways coming northbound on I-35.
Okay, so we're going to continue to kind of follow that storyline. Again, that's the northern sides of the metro. Mike and Jesse getting down towards I-240 and other possible accidents there. We'll get some video of that from Mike and Jesse coming up here in just a second. And the other thing I want to kind of stress home as well, we're just going to kind of leave the video up because, again, on a day like today, when we're talking about freezing drizzle, it doesn't show up on radar well. So it'd be nice to be able to pull up radar and say this is exactly all around the state where it's freezing, drizzling. This is what we're seeing out there. And I'll show you on radar here quickly. Here in the metro where we're super close to the radar site, it is showing up to a certain extent. But again, you get outside of the metro, you get into portions of western Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma, and you really can't use radar necessarily on a day like today to actually see where the freezing drizzle is. And again, that's why we have our storm trackers out. They've been out there all morning with live video and again ground verifying the drizzle intensity and again also the traffic conditions and the road conditions around the metro. It's so important to be able to do that on a morning like today, and it's because of this. As we take a look at Mesoscan XR extreme resolution radar, you're seeing the purples and kind of the peaches showing up there. There's a smattering there. It's letting you know that there's something going on. But again, you get out there in west central Oklahoma, there's freezing drizzle there as well. But see, it just doesn't show up on radar that well because the particulates, the liquid particulates are so small that it's just not really registering on the radar. So again, that's why we have our trackers out there this morning. That's why we're really sticking with their live video. And again, they're reporting from the field because there's no sense in having the radar up. You can't see anything here. It's really not even telling me anything. And again, that's why we need the trackers out there. And again, that's why we're sticking with their live video. Quickly, while I have the weather computer up, the other thing I want to talk about here, I just want to talk about the temperatures as well. This is the other story out there this morning. Let's go and take a look at live temperatures here. And as we do that quickly, and I will also go and show this as well. Our downtown Oklahoma City cam still completely ice covered. That's a coating of ice across the downtown Oklahoma City cam, again from the freezing drizzle, and again it's only 20 degrees, so the temperatures actually dropped 1 degree here in about the last 30 minutes. Temperatures may continue to ease down as we go through the day. Your wind chill factor, it's only 8. Those are dangerous wind chills. So as we take a look at live temperatures here around Oklahoma, basically from +9 out in the Oklahoma Panhandle to right around 19 to 22 here in central Oklahoma. Widespread teens, westerns into portions of north central Oklahoma. Again, dangerously cold. I want to show these wind chill factors here as well. This is the real story. So again, if for any reason you were caught outside today, you weren't dressed appropriately, talking about in layers, all exposed skin covered, these wind chill factors, these could set in fairly quickly and you could be susceptible to hypothermia. And in fact, we're talking about negative wind chill factors across all of northwestern Oklahoma to right around +8 to +9 here in central Oklahoma. So again, we just can't underscore it enough. It's dangerously cold. We've now got this light frozen precipitation, light freezing drizzle that's been ongoing throughout most of the morning. And again, it's just not a good situation. That's why we just want to stress, if you don't have to be out and about, you know, this morning is definitely not the time to be out and about. And again, the video we're looking at right here, this is a prime example. You know, we've had reports of possibly 12 accidents around the metro. We've had at least 2 live here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, one just south of the Guthrie area, and now also one in Edmond. One of them was a rollover, single car rollover. This right here, I think, was like a tractor trailer, then also a passenger car that was involved in an accident. EMSA just left the scene about maybe about 10 minutes ago now. But again, you know, just not a good situation. This is, you know, kind of the theme around the metro is that as you're looking at this video here, you know, traffic for the most part is moving okay. The roads in general are not completely ice covered, but you know, I've said this several times that all it takes is that one patch of ice as you're driving along it, or maybe the car next to you is driving along, and they hit that, or you hit that patch of ice, and then it basically turns into a bad day. So it's just one of those really deceiving days where the roads don't even necessarily look wet, they don't necessarily look ice coated, but there is at least black ice around, and that's what we're basically running into around the Metro. And again, unfortunately, we are starting to see some of these accidents around the Metro. I want to go to Mike and Jesse real quick. They're down on I-240. I want to take a look at their video here real quick, and they are on I-240 now. Guys, give us a live update. Tell us where you are right now exactly and what you're seeing on the southern sides of the Metro. Then we'll check back in with Aaron with that accident there around the Edmond area. Guys, go ahead.
Yes, William. We just passed 10 and 240, so Pennsylvania Avenue and I-240, and the mist or drizzle, as you would, has kind of come up in intensity right before we got to 10 there, and so we're actually having to hit the wipers a little bit more here. Sorry, we're just now coming up to 10. But again, the drizzle has come up in intensity a little bit, or frequency. The roads are very wet here. We haven't seen too many slick spots yet on 240. The big curve bridge at 152, where we do see a lot of accidents, that was actually in pretty good shape, William. But I did see a couple of ODOT crews out there, kind of on the frontage road and stuff like that. So I do believe ODOT's out here making sure these roads are staying as clear as possible. But again, we're on 240. We're not seeing a lot of slick spots at the moment, but the intensity of the drizzle has come up here, William.
Okay, and that's good to know. So down here in Norman, where our studio is, downtown Norman, it's pretty thick. I think it did kind of lighten up just a little bit, but it's pretty thick here in Norman again as well. In fact, our North Norman cam, it's actually it's ice coated like the downtown Oklahoma City cam, but you can actually see the texture of the ice now on our North Norman cam. So it's thickening up here in Norman. For sure. What I want to do, I want to go back to the guy who's bringing us the video that we're looking at right now, Aaron Spencer. Again, he's still kind of up in the Edmond area, right there near Wilshire and I-35. Aaron, we're still looking at your video. Again, this has been, I guess it was a multi-vehicle accident there. And go and give us a live update. Tell us what's going on. You said there was still possibly another wreck just to your south. And go and give us an update on all of that as well.
Yes, William, that's correct. It is a multi-vehicle accident with the truck here that you guys can see in the live stream, and then the tractor trailer is just to our north. I do see another vehicle that is on an overpass over there with another emergency vehicle behind them. But most of the emergency vehicles have cleared out from this wreck that we're on right now. The traffic is still really backed up for the northbound lanes on I-35.
Okay, and really appreciate that update there, Aaron, as well. This is the other thing I want to do. Let's quickly check in with Derick Mashaney. I know he's still on the western sides of the Metro. Derick, tell us where you are now and give us a live update. We're going to take a look at your video here and tell us where you are. It looks like you're on I-40. This is Derick's video, and tell us how the drizzle is and also what the road conditions are like out there on I-40. It looks like you're on into the Metro now. We still have Hinton up there. We'll update that, but tell us where you are now.
I am just right off the Meridian exit, west of the Metro. Traffic is pretty heavy. It's starting to kind of pick up a little bit. Our drizzle is really, really light. I mean, we're not seeing hardly any of it on our windshields. It's still coming down, but not to a point to where, you know, we can't see, or it's a huge concern for me. Although it's there, but it's really, really light. And so if you are still heading into the Metro or anywhere in general in western Oklahoma, oh, wow, we just about had an accident. Yeah, people are starting to pick up speed for some reason here. But if you are heading into the Metro, please be very careful. We didn't hit hardly any, I don't think we hit any split spots coming in. But obviously, you know, we can't see that because a lot of times, you know, it embeds itself into the highways unless it's picking up for see. But right now, everything is looking good, other than people are getting, I don't know, antsy, but people are picking speed up on I-40, heading into Oklahoma City itself.
Okay, really appreciate that update there, Derek, as well. And like I said, we're just going to kind of keep going around and checking in with our team of trackers, because on a morning like this, and you know, if you're just now joining us on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, this may be the first time you hear me say it, or if you've been watching throughout the morning, I might sound a little bit like a broken record, but on radar this morning, when we're talking about this freezing drizzle, it's really hard to detect. And that's why it's very important to have your storm trackers out in the field, again, really reporting back where the drizzle is the thickest, if they're seeing drizzle at all, and in real time what the road conditions are. If you don't have storm trackers out this morning, you're basically blind. So if you're trying to watch anybody else who doesn't have storm trackers out, they're blind because radar is not telling them anything at all. But again, our guys have been out since early this morning, again, bringing you video like you're seeing here live as well. But again, so really without radar really indicating very well where the drizzle is across Oklahoma, again, we're basically just doing what we call ground verifying. And in these situations, that's what you have to do, again, with your team of trackers out in the field. So that's why we're just kind of jumping between them and kind of jumping between their video. There's really no sense in putting up radar because, again, radar right now is really just not telling the story. It's just not showing us where this drizzle is. But in real time with their live video, with our dedicated team of storm trackers, we're actually able to get a better idea of what's going on. So with that being said, we're going to kind of jump video here. We're going to go to Mike and Jesse. They're on the southern sides of the metro. They're down around the I-240 area. And guys, go and tell us where you are now and go ahead and give us a live update from your location as well.
Yes, William, we are on I-240 and we just passed Eastern Avenue. So we're going to be going east here on I-240 past the 35 junction. Again, the main section of the roadway doesn't look bad. It looks wet. We're not really sliding or anything. But these bridges are starting to look like they're getting more impacted again. Our drizzle has kind of come up in intensity a little bit. But we're definitely out here where everyone's kind of taking it a little bit easier. But again, kind of like Derek was saying, we're noticing people are starting to speed up, which can cause a lot of trouble really quick. Just because these road conditions can change so quickly out here. And we're noticing the concrete roads are tending to freeze before the asphalt. And of course, I-240, when you get east of 35, is all concrete. So we're definitely taking it slow. I know with these wind chills out here, like you were stating, William, about the dangerous wind chills, the dangerous cold, while we're moving, our windshield even continues to ice up. The defrost here on high, it's just so cold out here that it's kind of freezing to our vehicle as fast as it's falling. Our vehicle's having a hard time clearing the windshield even. We've got a clear line of sight, so we're good on that. But again, that just kind of reiterates how dangerous this cold is, that the minute these trucks get moving, that they're icing the windshields up, William.
Yeah, really appreciate that update there. Mike and Jesse doing a great job. So again, they're kind of on the southern and kind of southeastern sides of town down around I-240. Now, it looks like, I'll be honest, as we're kind of looking at our different cams here, downtown Oklahoma City cam, it looks like it's trying to lighten up maybe just a little bit. Again, it was fairly iced over as we've gone through the morning. We're actually kind of able to see a little bit out of it. The Devon building's kind of starting to come within range, if you will. So it looks like maybe, just possibly, and this would be good if that was the case, that maybe some of this freezing drizzle's trying to wind down a little bit. There's a chance that by noon, the drizzle may lift and kind of go away through the afternoon. There's another chance that it might kind of linger through the day, and if that would be the case, then of course this would continue to be a problem throughout the afternoon as far as maybe some minor travel impacts that we're seeing around the metro. So we'll continue to track that storyline. Mike, is it, I mean, just over there, and real quickly, just because we just talked to you and I'm looking at your video right now, you know, over the last 10 minutes or so, as you guys have been down there on I-240, I mean, is the drizzle lightening up at all where you are, or is the quality and intensity pretty much the same?
We're getting patches of a heavier drizzle and then patches of light drizzle, William. It's not completely going away, but it lightens up and then it thickens up. So it's very patchy at the moment, William.
Okay, got it. And let's do this. Let's go back to the northern sides of the metro, up around the Edmond area. Again, this is the video that for the most part we've been looking at here for the last several minutes. This is where Aaron Spencer is. And again, he's up around the Edmond, North Oklahoma City area. Again, this was a multi-car accident. This is really the second accident that he's had today. Unfortunately, just like I keep saying over and over, we don't like to spend our Saturday mornings bringing you live video of accidents around Oklahoma City, but it does tell the story that, again, there are slick spots out there. There are accidents that are happening around the metro. And, hopefully this will motivate you if you're thinking about maybe running an errand that you don't necessarily have to right now. Just don't do it. Stay home. I mean, this is kind of the holiday week. We're in between Christmas and New Year's. Let's go on and have a great New Year's weekend. There's no reason to get out and about. Now, the roads are not completely ice covered. Overall, traffic is moving fairly smoothly. But just like I've said over and over, there are those slick spots around. And, we don't want it to be you that finds that slick spot or the car next to you driving down the road that finds that slick spot. And then you basically have a bad rest of your day. So, but let's do this. Let's go and check back in with Aaron Spencer. Again, he's on the northern sides of the metro. This is his video. And Aaron, give us an update on that accident and also conditions on the northern sides of the metro there as well.
Yes, William. We're just off of the I-35 interstate, just right before Britton Road, which is going to be exit 135. Looks like they're starting to wrap up this wreck here. The trooper is now going back over to one of the people that were involved in the wreck. The traffic here going northbound is still backed up really bad, but as of the rain and whatnot, there might be just a little bit of sprinkles, but other than that, it's just about it.
So is the drizzle starting to kind of ease up a little bit where you are, Aaron? I mean, like I said, I'm trying to kind of make it out from our downtown Oklahoma City cam, which is semi-close to where you are. It looks like the drizzle's maybe easing back just a little bit, but I mean, you're actually there looking at it in real time. What would you say over the last 20 minutes? I mean, what's the trend with the drizzle where you are right now?
I mean, very, very light. There's hardly anything hitting the windshield right now.
Okay, so it looks like it is lightening. I mean, is it safe to say then it looks like it is lightening up where you are right now?
That is correct.
Okay, so that's the trend we want to watch, and that would be good. I mean, if that's truly the case, that would be good. And like I said, there's a real opportunity as we get closer to noon that some of this drizzle will start to kind of lighten up a little bit. I think that's what we're seeing from our downtown Oklahoma City cam. I think that's what we're seeing from Aaron's live shot there. And even where Mike and Jesse are, again, they're on I-240. This is their video there. And it looks like maybe even based off of your video, Mike, it looks like things are maybe lightening up just a little bit. But again, this is stuff we have to take minute by minute just because at this point in time, the drizzle's lightening up a little bit. That doesn't mean in 30 minutes it doesn't come back. So that doesn't mean that conditions are improving quite yet. We just got to take the trends and watch this minute by minute. But guys, we are looking at your live video. You're down there on 240. Go ahead and give us another live update with what's going on the southern sides of the metro.
Yes, William. We're actually going to be passing Stanley Draper Lake, which is Douglas Boulevard here off of I-240. And we noticed it's a little bit darker off to the east here. But yes, as a whole, we're kind of having a downward trend on the drizzle here, the freezing drizzle. But again, it is still very patchy. I-240 is very wet right on the eastern side here of the metro, southeastern side of the metro here. But it's very wet, but we're not slipping right now or anything like that. So we're thinking it's just wet. Now, please don't let that fool you guys, because if it does ice, you could have the potential for black ice, which is an absolute travel nightmare. So we're taking it nice and easy, slower. Traffic around us, kind of taking it easy and slower. But again, we're really watching for these icy spots that may or may not exist here on I-240. But again, it does look like it might be picking up just ahead of us to the east here, William, as we continue to travel east on I-240.
I'll tell you this, Mike, and for everyone else at home or watching on the mobile app as well, just getting new reports of accidents. And I tell you what, the Hefner Parkway, there's currently 4 accidents working on the Hefner Parkway. So that would definitely be an area to avoid, not just because of the accidents, but we've continuously had accidents there this morning. I would not venture out on the Hefner Parkway at all. Also, I-40 and 35, the Dallas Junction, looks like there's a major slowdown now on the Dallas Junction. And then also the Broadway extension, also possible serious accident there. So Hefner Parkway, major slowdowns, Broadway extension, possible serious accident. and then also the Dallas Junction possible slowdowns there. Again, you're also looking at, again, from the northern sides of the metro, I-35 and Britton Road. This was a multi-car accident. You're looking at live with Aaron Spencer.
We got a rollover on 240.
Okay, so Mike has now got a
rollover.
rollover.
Also got an accident on I-35 as well,
okay.
or I-40 to the I-35.
Okay, let's do this. So we got Mike. Let's go back to Mike. We're just going to switch to his video here. And looks like he's just kind of coming within range. So this is a rollover Mike's got now as well. So again, this just really drives home the point. We don't like covering these accidents. We don't like bringing live video of accidents. But, this drives home the point that if you do not have to get out and about this morning, don't do it. Because, this is a second rollover now that we've had. And, we've had multiple accidents other than the live accidents we're bringing you just off the information coming into the forecast center, especially up there around the Hefner Parkway. Again, multiple accidents there as well. Yeah, go ahead. Let's check in with Mike and Jesse real quick. Derek, we're going to get right back to your update. But Mike, I know you're on the live line. Looks like you're just pulling up there. OHP on the scene there. Go and give us an update. Tell us what you're seeing there off of I-240.
Yes, William. We're here on I-240 just east of, I can't see that road. We're at mile marker 13 here on 240. It's going to be just east of Anderson Road by about a mile. Yes, Highway Patrol is on the scene. We have a red crew cab pickup that is on its side that appears to have rolled, maybe struck a tree out here. The front end is very heavily damaged, and of course it's rolled. But we believe this is the driver kind of in front of us with the state trooper. And we believe that's the driver, and we believe he's going to be okay here. But it definitely just seems like the front end is damaged, but the truck itself, the cab doesn't look too damaged. But this is kind of this will tell you the story here, William, that these roads can become icy very, very quickly, very fast, very easily, and we definitely don't want to see anybody hurt out here for sure.
Mike, are you guys able, I don't know which camera you have today, I don't know if you're able to pan over and kind of get us a shot of that at all. Your video, it's coming in just a little bit dark. So, we can see the trooper. We can, obviously see, unfortunately, maybe the victim of the accident there talking to the trooper. But are we able to get a better shot of that actual truck that's down there in the ditch right now?
Yeah, we're going to actually turn the camera a little bit.
Okay, if you can, do that. Let's do this. Also, while you guys are doing that, I want to check in with Derick Mashaney. He's on I-40. And it sounds like he had a possible accident there as well. Derek, go and give us an update. Tell us where you are, and tell us about your possible accident now on I-40. So we're looking at I-240. We're now going to the western sides of the metro on I-40. And Derek, give us a live update.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on I-40 right now, heading west. We basically just made a turn from I-40 east onto I-40 west. But the trooper up here on the bridge that takes you into I-35 south, that they've had literally more wrecks within the last hour up on the highway section of that bridge. And so he advised us to actually, we pulled up right behind him, to actually move due to the fact that it's that treacherous right now. So
and Derek, where on I-40 is that again? Say that one more time. Where on I-40 was that?
That's I-35 exit going south.
Okay, I-35 exit and 40 going south. Okay.
Correct. And the roads are slick. We actually hit a pretty good patch of ice just getting off the exit to make a U-turn back on the I-40 going west. And I just advise anybody, if you are traveling in the city and you're going over bridges, please be careful. They are frozen. They are still frozen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the unfortunate thing. So there's definitely slick spots around the metro. And, basically what we've kind of been spending the morning doing here are covering these accidents live. Like I've said, this isn't fun. This isn't anything we like to spend our Saturday morning doing. But there is freezing drizzle that continues to be in progress. It is lightening up some. It is lightening up some now around the metro, and that might be just for this moment in time, or that might be the trend, hopefully, as we start getting closer to noon, that this starts to kind of lift and starts to kind of go away. But there was some fairly thick freezing drizzle around the metro this morning. Temperatures basically flatlined right now, right around 20. Wind chills basically around 8 here in the Oklahoma City metro. And so the elevated bridges and overpasses, there are slick spots, but even outside of the bridges and overpasses, in fact, I think every wreck that we've covered so far today has not been a bridge or overpass. It's actually been a normal road where a slick spot has developed. And, you know, this is the second rollover that we've had, you know, today. So that's telling you, you know, not good. Again, if you don't have to get out and about, basically the bottom line, you know, this morning is don't get out and about. You don't want to be, you know, involved in an accident. You don't want to be driving in the car next to you for some reason hits a slick spot and it involves both of you in an accident. Today is the day, or at least as we go through the morning, you know, if you don't have to be out and about, it's better to, you know, just stay home, stay warm. Because again, the other thing we're talking about, if heaven forbid you're involved in some type of a traffic snarl, again, it's 20 degrees outside, wind chill is 8 above 0. These are dangerously cold temperatures. So if you are going to be out and about for any reason today, especially through the morning hours here, the one thing we also really want to drive home is that you absolutely have to be dressed in layers. You have to dress for this, folks. If you know, it's Oklahoma, it doesn't get this cold all the time. It normally happens once a year. We get a good Arctic blast. This isn't like it's unprecedented. I understand that, but it doesn't happen that often. And I mean, a lot of times, you know, it's like 30 degrees and, you know, maybe you go to Bass Pro and there's people still wearing shorts. That's probably me. I'm probably the one wearing shorts, but today's not the day to do that. These are dangerously cold temperatures, you know, around the state. Again, in northwestern Oklahoma, wind chills negative, sub-zero. Here, wind chills around 8. You've got to dress for it. If you are going to venture out, we recommend you don't. If you are going to venture out, you've got to be dressed in layers. Your exposed skin has to be covered because heaven forbid, if for any reason you're involved in a traffic snarl, hypothermia, it can set in if you do have exposed skin. So definitely we want to drive that home. It's Oklahoma. It doesn't get this cold that often. So we just want to give you those reminders and those safety tips here this morning as well. So Mike, give us an update. I think you talked to that OHP trooper. I think he may have just left the scene. We're seeing that rollover. Again, this is the second rollover we've had today. Other accidents still being reported and other accidents we've covered live. But go ahead and give us a live update on the scene there at I-240 and tell us again exactly where you are.
Yes, again, we're at I-240 and Anderson Road. You'll see me in the live shot walking back. I just spoke with the driver. It was a patch of ice. He is very much so okay. In fact, he's got a ride. Wrecker's on its way to come pick up the truck. Spoke with Highway Patrol. He's saying the south side so far from what he has seen isn't too bad yet. But again, we're having patches of ice on these roadways, which is kind of what happened with this gentleman here. So, excuse me, William. Climbing that hill took my breath away. But again, he is okay. The truck is heavily damaged. Wrecker's gonna have to come and get it, but he does have a ride. He seems in pretty good spirits out here. So for what just happened and what took place.
Yeah.
But the scene is actually clearing up. Highway Patrol has left. Gonna let the wrecker come and pick up the truck when a wrecker is available. That is the other problem with some of the wrecks in the metro here. The wreckers are actually inundated with phone calls and picking up vehicles. So his truck may be here for a little bit while he waits for a wrecker. But he does have people have pulled up to come and get him, I guess family members or friends. But again, it was just a one slick spot on the interstate here on I-240 and Anderson Road. And it caused this driver to spin and lose control of his vehicle and essentially roll it, William.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it's so unfortunate. That's what we say. I mean, it's just one of those deals where, I mean, traffic is going along smooth. There's no problem, and either you hit that, you know, small patch of ice or, you know, someone next to you does, and then it's basically a bad day. Do you know, was he wearing a seatbelt, Mike? Do you have any idea? I don't know if you asked him that or not. But, I mean, you know, I mean, when you're talking about a rollover, and I mean, he rolled off the embankment there. I mean, that, you know, a lot of times that would have been not a good day. But, I mean, do you know, was he wearing a seatbelt?
Yes, he said he was wearing a seatbelt. He actually ended up climbing through the rear glass, he said, because it was already shattered out.
Man,
he had a bump to his head. He had a pretty good mark, but no scratches. He might wake up with a nice goose egg tomorrow and a pretty good bruise on his forehead. But the situation could have been a lot worse. Even he's very thankful. He appreciated us pulling over and communicating with him too. So he was very willing to let his story kind of be told on air as well. But again, he just hit a patch of ice, and it spun the back end of his truck around. He nosed down into the ditch. He said he tried to save it, and it rolled, and created kind of a nightmare situation for him. So he said he was doing about 55, 60 when he rolled. So again, may not have been traveling slow enough for the conditions out here. But I know, again, we're taking it very easy. We're watching for these road conditions, and also, hopefully we don't have to assist on a accident ourselves or see one right in front of us. But again, these are the conditions out here. We have patchy spots of ice. I'm going to go ahead and say at times it's black ice because the roadways just look wet, and then all of a sudden you'll hit a patch of ice, and you can't differentiate the difference between them here, between the wet roadways and the icy roadways. So again, that creates a very dangerous situation. Highway Patrol is out. They are working these accidents. But again, like we were told by the highway patrolman at this scene, he's hearing that the south sides of the metro aren't too bad, but the north side is becoming more and more of a nightmare, William.
Yeah, I think that might be the case, again, especially over there by the Hefner Parkway and the Broadway extension. Like I said, those right now seem to be the hot spots. Dallas Junction as well. Reports of some slowdowns there. What I want to do, Mike, and great job, Mike. I mean, really great job, again, checking on that guy, making sure everything was okay, and, kind of getting his story, and again, also, being out and about there as well. Again, on the southern sides of the metro. I want to hop back to the northern sides of the metro, and again, this is where our other storm tracker, Aaron Spencer's been. He's also, unfortunately, he's had 2 wrecks. One of them was also a rollover, and then a multi-vehicle accident on I-35 in Britton Road. EMSA was there, maybe transported one person from there, not totally sure on that. But we've got Aaron back on the live line and his video up. He's in the Edmond area. And Aaron, looks like you've left the scene of that accident. Looks like you're mobile and moving now. Tell us what's going on where you are, and tell us exactly where you are now as well.
Yes, William. We're on, we just actually crossed over Highway 77 on East Britton Road. We're going to be heading over towards the Lake Hefner Parkway, where we heard that there was a couple accidents over there. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can give you guys a live update here shortly on that.
We appreciate that update there, Aaron. So we've got your video there. What I want to do, let's also go to Derick Mashaney, and he's still in the West Metro. I believe he's still out around the I-40 area. And so, Derick, we're going to take a look at your video. It may be frozen up here just momentarily, but Derick, you're out on the West Metro. Tell us where you are now exactly and what's going on out there on I-40. Give us a live update.
So we're currently on, we had to take a detour to get around. We can get back into 35 and 40, but we're basically on Martin Luther King in Reno. And the roads here are really slick, just the roads in general. It's not including the highway. We don't have anything coming down really as far as any freezing drizzle, but the roads are very, very slick. I mean, we just crossed the bridge. I had to get over here to Reno, and it was covered in ice.
Okay.
So if you're traveling on Martin Luther King, be very careful.
So you're basically, you're just right there, just east of downtown is what it sounds like. If you're on MLK, basically in Reno, right there. Okay. And so is the drizzle, and this is the thing, and just like, I mean, if you're just now joining us on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, I know we've got a lot of folks joining us. One of the things I've been saying throughout the morning, if you weren't with us earlier, with radar, the reason we're really not showing radar a lot today is because when you're talking about this very fine freezing drizzle, it doesn't really show up well on radar, and it doesn't necessarily tell us the intensity or really what's going on. And, I've said it a couple times, that's why we have to have our storm trackers out on a day like today. Their experience, their expertise, and their reporting, it's invaluable because it's telling you, but it's also telling me exactly what's going on, because I can't, on a day like today, necessarily look at radar and get a good gauge of what's going on. So that's why we keep asking them what the quality and the intensity is of the drizzle. That's telling us exactly what's going on, and then also in real time the conditions of the roadways and any possible traffic snarls as well. But I mean, has the drizzle for the most part lifted where you are now, Derick? I mean, is there any active drizzle at all?
There is still active drizzle. It's not a huge amount. but it is still coming down. We are back we're back on I-40, looking west. And as I mentioned earlier, we had a couple of accidents up here on 35 going into the South Junction. Or we had a couple of accidents on I-40 on the South Junction of I-35. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but we talked to the trooper that was on the scene, and he actually advised us to go a little bit farther east due to the fact that it was such treacherous road conditions.
Hey, Derick, let me ask you this real quick, because your video just came back up, and you're pretty much right there at that Dallas junction. And this is where we actually had a report. This was maybe 10 minutes ago of an accident there around the Dallas junction. Are you seeing, and you know, sometimes just like the one Mike had, I mean, sometimes it's you know, it happens. I mean, fortunately, nobody's, you know, injured, and, you know, the OHP and stuff, they leave fairly quickly and they got to get on to the next, and it may not be a major traffic snarl. But as you're kind of looking at it, I see you're there, your video's coming in great now. As you're kind of scanning the area, are you seeing any active accidents? Because this was, at least, you know, almost just 10 minutes ago, one of the hot spots in the metro of possible working accidents.
I don't have any accidents on my side. I'm looking directly west, basically. But if you can see my camera, if you can look on I-40 going east, there is an active accident over there. And it's just right off the exit. And the funny thing about it was, they had to spun because when they were going on that exit, their vehicles were completely embedded on the side of the bridge, looking west. So going east, looking west. And yes, the trooper that I talked to said that they had about 4 accidents within an hour just in that one spot. So yes, the bridges, especially going through 35 in here, are still slick. And I can verify that because we've driven over them.
Okay, yeah, and this I think that is probably the one that you were talking about there on I-40 going eastbound. I think that's probably the accident that we had here on our system. So yeah, that could very well be possible. And you said that was on an off ramp. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was on the I-35 south off ramp.
Okay, we're gonna do this. I want to just show our downtown Oklahoma City cam again, just because we're taking all this kind of moment in time. But it looks like some of this drizzle compared to earlier might be trying to thin out just a little bit. Now, our downtown Oklahoma City cam earlier, and this is very close to where Derick is. This is essentially at I-40 and the Dallas Junction. Is where downtown Oklahoma City is located. This was covered in ice, you know, really really for most of the morning, up until maybe about 15 minutes ago. We're starting to see the glaze ease down now on the glass that covers the camera. And again, you're actually starting to see some of the Oklahoma City skyline. Now, you can still see it's hazy. There's still some mist. There's still some drizzle around. It's 20 degrees, and things are still freezing there as well. The water droplets are still freezing to exposed surfaces, so it's not over yet. The thickness of the drizzle is easing back some, but that picture right there, again with that gray, that kind of looks like haze you're seeing, that is still freezing mist and some freezing drizzle mixing in, so the traffic conditions are not going to improve dramatically, and especially when your temperature is only 20 degrees, they're not going to improve dramatically either. So even though the drizzle's easing back just a notch from where it was earlier, you know, there's still going to be traffic snarls. And basically the recommendation here from the forecast center is still, if you don't have to get out and about, you don't need to do it. Because again, we basically, unfortunately, all we've been doing all morning with our storm trackers is basically covering accidents and showing you live video of, you know, what's going on, unfortunately, with our fellow Oklahomans who are either, you know, maybe running an errand, or, you know, some people have to do something. Maybe they have to go to work, but unfortunately, you know, they were involved in some type of a traffic issue. So let's do this. I want to check back in on the northern sides of the metro now. This is Aaron Spencer's live shot. I believe he's still in the Edmond area. Aaron, tell us where you are now and give us a live update. If you're on the live line, Aaron.
Yes, William. We just crossed over May and Britton Road. We're on Britton right now. We're, I think, right at Lake Hefner Parkway, if I'm looking right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're just right at Lake Hefner Parkway, and we're going to look here and see, because, again, we were having some reports earlier of a couple of accidents.
Yeah,
So
in fact, there were 4 about 10 minutes ago. There were 4 working accidents on the Hefner Parkway. You know, a lot of times when we're talking about any type of wintry weather, the Hefner Parkway, for whatever reason, seems to go downhill fairly quickly. And again, it's not that the Hefner Parkway is glazed in ice. We're not saying that. It's nothing like that. But that, for whatever reason, seems to be one of the areas that does have traffic issues. And again, you know, we had the report here of 4 working accidents. So Aaron, he's basically going up over the hill. This should be the Hefner Parkway. We're about to see it here in just a second. And in real time, he'll be able to kind of give us an update on that. Aaron, what about the drizzle where you are right now? I mean, is it kind of easing back? What's the quality and the intensity of the drizzle where you are?
It's still very light. I'm not really seeing much at all, except for whenever I start going at a little bit of a higher speed. You know, you can kind of see it at the windshield a little bit, but definitely not enough to be hitting the windshield wipers at this time, William. Okay, really appreciate that update, and we'll look for another report from you here fairly quickly for an update on the Hefner Parkway. As soon as you have anything from there, just let me know. And so we've got 3 of our trackers out in the Oklahoma City Metro this morning. And I mean, we've got a tremendous amount of folks now watching us here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. Some of you have been with us all morning, and some of you maybe are just now joining us. So I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I just want to kind of give you the general setup. Some of you may have heard me say this a couple times, but on a day like today, when we're talking about freezing drizzle, and the reason why we're showing mainly video and not necessarily radar, it's because this freezing drizzle does not necessarily show up that well on radar. From the forecast center, I'm not really able to tell the quality or the intensity of the drizzle, meaning how thick it is or how heavy it is, whether it's drizzle or mist, from just looking at radar. And that's why it's important to have storm trackers, actual human beings out and about around the metro, giving us live video, giving us live reports in real time to tell us where it's drizzling, how thick it is, the quality and intensity of it, and then also what the road conditions are. So anyone else who's given you a weather update this morning that doesn't have storm trackers out, they're blind, and they might just be making it up as they go because they truly don't know. They truly don't know based off of radar, again, what's going on. And again, in real time, our storm trackers, as we've gone through the morning, again, we've had 3 of them out and about basically all morning. And again, unfortunately, part of what we've been doing this morning is covering accidents. We've been bringing you live accidents throughout the morning. That's not the way we like to spend our Saturday morning, but it does kind of drive home the point that, again, there are slick spots out there. There are traffic snarls. And again, with us bringing you that live video, hopefully for some folks out there, it is kind of driving home the point that, you know, if you don't have to get out and about this morning, you know, it's better just to not do it. I know some folks, you know, they have to go to work. There's certain things you have to do and you have to just venture out, and we understand that. But if you just have an errand to run or you just want to run to the mall, you know, do something like that, this morning is definitely not the morning to do it, because as you're looking at the roadways, and even Aaron's live shot looks like there may have been something there Aaron just passed. You know, as we're looking at the live shot, you know, traffic is moving fairly smooth, but all it takes is that one slick spot, whether you hit it or the car next to you hits it and they spin and you spin. It looks like there's something else there on the other side of the road too. So we're seeing that there are issues there on the Hefner Parkway. It might be on the other side of the road. Aaron, is that what it is? Looks like we just saw 2 Oklahoma City PD working looked like 2 different possible accidents. What are you seeing as you're driving down the Hefner Parkway? I mean, any time of day, this is generally, you know, a pretty busy part of Oklahoma City and Edmond in the metro. But what are you seeing out there on the Hefner Parkway? Give us a live update. Yes, William, that's correct. There was, I think, 4 or 5 Oklahoma City PD on the road over there. I'm not exactly sure what was going on because there was no vehicles that were there at the time. We're actually going to go ahead and turn back around and go back the opposite way because there is 2 vehicles on the side of the road, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on with them, but we're going to go check that out and give you an update here in just a second.
What I want to do real quick, while Aaron's talking about what's going on the Hefner Parkway, I want to get back down to the south side of Oklahoma City, and this is where Mike and Jesse, some of our other experienced and dedicated storm trackers are. And guys, you're down there. Are you still on I-240? Tell me where you are. Again, Mike and Jesse, maybe just 15 minutes ago, unfortunately, they had that rollover accident. Fortunately, the guy was wearing a seatbelt. He was okay. He didn't even have to be transported to the hospital. He maybe had a little contusion or something on his head, but he was okay. In fact, his friend was coming to pick him up, and he was going to go home. Now, his vehicle was not okay. It had rolled, and it was pretty seriously damaged. But guys, you're still down there on the south side. Tell us where you are exactly now, and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We're actually on I-40 right now, heading back eastbound, or westbound, at Anderson Road. So that's going to be the next exit past Choctaw Road.
Yep.
We took I-240 all the way to where it merges back with I-40 eastbound. We went ahead and flipped around, and we're heading back down I-40 here. Again, though, when we turned around on Choctaw Road, the on-ramp was actually a little bit icy for us. So again, that's some dangerous situations there. If you're running those corners on the on-ramps and off-ramps, if they're icy, that can cause problems real quick. So again, the biggest story here is slow down, take it easy. We're still getting a little bit of drizzle here on the east side of Metro, but it's definitely not as intense as it was earlier. In fact, we're just hitting the wipers every now and then. But again, the roads are still wet. We're still having spots of more or less black ice, William. And again, that can be causing a lot of travel problems here. But at the moment, it looks like I-40 east right now, east of downtown, is clear at the moment. Again, we're going to be traveling back westbound and kind of see what we can see over here.
Mike, I really appreciate that update. You and Jesse doing a great job. Let's jump back up to the north here, up around the Edmond area. And Aaron Spencer, one of our trackers, I don't know if that was maybe another possible spin out, somebody that maybe hit, kind of that guardrail in the middle. I can't really tell from your video, Aaron, but give us an update and tell us what's going on up there on the Hefner Parkway right now.
Yes, William. It looks like it was just an act of kindness. It looks like the guy that's in the big Chevy pickup was helping one of the drivers that were on the Lake Hefner Parkway change a flat tire. So I think that was the only thing that was wrong with these two vehicles. But it looks like that's what was going on there.
Okay. So so only a flat tire. That's much better. A flat tire is bad on any day, especially as cold as it is out there today. No doubt about that. But I mean, compared to unfortunately some of the accidents we've had today, at least that's not worst case scenario. So as we're kind of taking a look here, Aaron, also at your video again, we've had reports of multiple accidents up here on the Hefner Parkway. The other thing we're tracking in real time is the drizzle. Is it kind of easing back a little bit? That's kind of been the question we're talking with our storm trackers about, also using our live cam network around the metro as well. It looks like it's still easing back some. It's not quite as thick as it was, but there is still some, I would almost say it's more in the way of mist. It's like a light freezing mist now in the metro as opposed to the thicker drizzle we had maybe about an hour ago. On the northern sides of the metro, Aaron, as you're kind of gauging it there from your vantage point, what would you kind of gauge the drizzle or mist at this point in time?
Yes, William. The drizzle is still very, very light. There's really not much at all. If you're not really paying attention to your windshield much, you're really not going to notice it on your windshield. It's just not enough to be able to wipe off and notice that it's coming down at a good rate.
Okay. Really appreciate that update. Great work there, Aaron. We're going to check back in with you here in just a second. I want to go to Derick Mashaney, and he's on the western sides, or actually he's not. He was actually at the Dallas Junction the last time we talked to him, and we'll have to find out where he is now. Looks like he's kind of been moving around with his video here. Derick, tell us where you are now. I know you were at the Dallas Junction. There was a possible accident there on eastbound 40 at the Dallas Junction. Tell us where you are now, and also give us a live update.
Yeah, we're actually 35 south, basically in for the moment. I do have a very light drizzle. It's like I said earlier,
we're having just a little bit of trouble hearing you, Derick. I'm not sure if you're on your headset or not. It may have slid down, but we can barely hear you, and it looks like your video. I think that's a little bit better, and I think your video may also be black. So I've still got Aaron's video. We're still looking at Edmond. So we're talking with Derick, and I believe he said he was in Moore now. Is that correct?
Correct. We're on Moore. Right now, the drizzle is not as crazy as it was earlier. It's like Aaron said. If you're not paying attention to your windshield, you're not really going to notice it. It's still coming down, but it's very, very light. Traffic is pretty heavy, and there are some drivers out there that are not using the precaution as far as speed, which is kind of dangerous for the individuals that are on the highway. due to people not paying attention. But we are going to be coming up to some Norman tide here momentarily. Other than that, everything looks pretty good.
Okay, appreciate that update there, Derek, as well. What I want to do, just real quick here, the other story that we're tracking carefully today, it is the temperature. So, I mean, obviously we're tracking the freezing drizzle with our trackers in the field who are doing a phenomenal job. It looks like in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa, it looks like really our team is the only team of trackers that's been out this morning as far as bringing live video goes. So phenomenal job to them. Again, not just Oklahoma City, but also in Tulsa as well. But the other thing I want to talk about, the temperatures and the wind chills around the state. So, this is the other story. And this isn't just a today thing. It's also a tonight thing. And this is also basically heading into New Year's as well, New Year's weekend, New Year's Eve. It's these wind chill factors. And, keep in mind in Oklahoma, we normally have a pretty good cold snap every year, but, it doesn't happen too often. And the one thing we really want to remind everybody is if for any reason you're going to be out and about, you're going to venture out for whatever reason in the freezing mist and freezing drizzle, which we don't recommend, but again, some folks have to. You have to go to work. There's things you have to do. Make sure you're dressed in layers today because, again, the wind chill factors, the temperatures, the air temperatures around Oklahoma, these are dangerously cold. And as we're taking a look at these live numbers here, again, these are wind chill factors. And again, you can basically see from the Panhandle up into northwestern Oklahoma, we're running from -1 to right around -4. So we're sub-zero wind chill factors, sub-zero wind chill factors all the way into Blaine County. Here in central Oklahoma, we're basically from +2 to +7. And, keep in mind, if for any reason you happen to end up being exposed to these conditions, and you're not dressed in layers, you have exposed skin, hypothermia can set in fairly quickly. We don't use the term hypothermia in Oklahoma very often, but that is simply the case. That is simply the facts, again, with this air mass that we currently have in place today. Again, these live wind chills, these are truly dangerous wind chills. And again, you want to keep that in mind. And also not just for you, but also for your outdoor pets, your outdoor animals. And even for our farmer and rancher friends that have cattle and again animals that are outside, I'm sure by now you've already done your winter prep and things you need to do because it's basically the air is on us here. But again, just keep that in mind. Keep yourself in mind. Make sure you're dressing in layers. And again, also don't forget about your outdoor pets, your outdoor animals, not just today, but basically even all the way really through the weekend as well. What we're going to do now is we're going to just kind of keep bouncing back around with our team of trackers. And I want to show this as well. I just want to kind of illustrate this point. The reason why we're not showing radar that much today, if you're just now joining us on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, we're talking about freezing mist and freezing drizzle, and you're saying, well, they keep showing the video, but where's the radar? This is radar. And again, freezing mist and freezing drizzle, it just doesn't really show up on radar that well. If you look carefully, you can kind of see that smattering of purple through there. So radar is letting us know there's something around the western Oklahoma who's seeing freezing mist and drizzle as well. It's just not showing up on radar. And again, that's why we have our team of trackers out there this morning, again, ground verifying what's going on, letting us know the intensity of the mist and the drizzle around the state. And again, also letting us know what those road conditions are as well. But on a day like today, you really have to have more than radar. Again, you have to have this dedicated team of storm trackers that's out and about and actually in the field. And with that being said, I want to go back to our other team of trackers here, Mike and Jesse. They're in Oklahoma City. I believe they're still on I-40 the way it looks, maybe coming into the Tinker Diagonal there. Mike, tell us where you are now and go ahead and give us a live update.
Yes, William, we are on 240, we are on I-40 right now at Sunny Lane Road, which is exit 155 here. And again, we're not seeing, the roads are still wet, which again, black ice is very possible. We've been seeing this all morning long so far, that the roadways look wet, and then all of a sudden somebody spun out because of a spot of black ice here. But again, right now the roads look wet. We are still getting a light drizzle here on the eastern side of the Metro, but we are traveling back westbound at the moment, and we're not seeing a lot of travel snarls or anything like that. People have slowed down. They are taking it kind of easy. But again, these road conditions can fluctuate very easily right now. So even though the roadway, here at Reno and Scott Avenue, maybe wet, it doesn't mean by the next exit that they're not frozen. So again, take your time, take it very easy. And again, like you were saying, William, the other story is the brutal cold. It is very cold, extremely cold out here. And actually, we're just having an ODOT truck pass us again. So Oklahoma Department of Transportation really deserves a kind of a round of applause today, because they really are working. I know I-40, I-35, 240. In fact, here's another ODOT truck. They are really working this, William. So that is a good thing. We really want to praise those ODOT workers. And we really want to praise them. They're doing a phenomenal job out here. So, again, actually.
Okay, really appreciate that update, Mike. You and Jesse doing a phenomenal job out there today, again, covering the Metro and, again, bringing us the play-by-play. And, I mean, unfortunately, bringing us the rollover accident earlier today. Derick Mashaney doing a great job, and then also Aaron Spencer doing a great job. He's been primarily on the northern sides of the Metro, Guthrie, the Edmond area. And, again, he's brought us, I believe, maybe 3 accidents as we've gone through the morning. And, you know, like I say, this is not fun. We don't like to bring live video of accidents, but again, it's telling the story. This is truly what's going on, and hopefully that's maybe helping some people think twice about possibly getting out on the roads, and hopefully they're just staying in, staying warm, and maybe drinking some hot cocoa this morning. But we're looking at Aaron's live video, and I believe he might still be on the Hefner Parkway the way it looks right now up there in the Edmond area. Aaron, go and give us a live update and tell us where you are right now.
Yes, William. We're now traveling north on the Lake Hefner Parkway. We just actually on the edges of the parkway. We're actually about to turn back around. We didn't see any coming northbound, but we really didn't go all that far southbound. So we're going to go ahead and travel just a little bit further south on the Lake Hefner Parkway. And if we see any more, Rex will definitely give you an update on that as soon as we get to it.
Okay, really appreciate that update, and again, doing a great job there, Aaron, as well. I want to check in with one of our other storm trackers here as well, Derick Mashaney. Again, he's on, I believe now, the southern sides of the Metro. I think he was down in the Moore area the last time we talked to him. And Derick, I know you're on the live line. Your video is still fairly intermittent. That's his video. It looks like it's probably hung, but he looks like going through actually Moore right now. I'm familiar with that area. So, Derick, give us a live update. Tell us where you are, and to tell us what's going on here on the southern sides of the Metro.
Yeah, absolutely. I am on the I-35 north exit going into Oklahoma City. Traffic so far seems to be, as far as in town, flowing, but I-35 is starting to kind of pick up from what we've been able to see. ODOT is out. We just saw a truck a few minutes ago, and so I know that they're out working on the roads, trying to kind of get everything completely worked on, that way that we can have much more fair road conditions. But right now, the freezing drizzle has seemed to really lighten down to almost nothing, and so far things are looking pretty good over here. Roads are still slick. I have hit a couple of slick spots, so just keep that in mind. Be careful if you are traveling.
Okay, appreciate that update. And the one thing I want to show here as well, and we're going to look at our downtown Oklahoma City cam, and this is a pretty good gauge. I mean, this is really a pretty good gauge of, you know, you just kind of look at the whole thing as a whole of what's going on as far as the precipitation quality and the intensity as far as the mist and freezing drizzle goes. And I think we can say that at least right now it continues to ease down. We couldn't even see out of this cam, you know, really as we went through most of the morning for about the last 30 minutes or so. We've kind of seen these conditions improve, and it looks like it still continues to improve. You can still see there's still some freezing mist. There's no doubt about it. There's still some freezing mist. It's not completely done, but compared to where we were, especially, you know, at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock this morning, it's lightening up some, and that may be the trend through noon. By noon, we may be able to get most of this to kind of ease down and try and kind of go away. Now, there's still going to be some slick spots. Air temperatures are only in the 20s, you know, with wind chills from, you know, -5 to right around 10 across Oklahoma, western and central Oklahoma. And so there's still going to be some slick spots even this evening. So you definitely have to keep that in mind, again, really as we go through the day and the evening hours as well. But hopefully here over the next hour to two, we can continue to kind of get this freezing drizzle and freezing mist to kind of lift. and see if we can't try and get it to go away. There will be an opportunity for some snow as we get into tonight. There's still that opportunity, especially down in southern Oklahoma. It's going to be very light. This isn't going to be a meaningful snow at all, but there will be that opportunity. And I tell you, coming up today at noon, which is just about an hour from right now, an hour and 4 minutes, Oklahoma Weather Live will have a complete look at your forecast for tonight, talking about snow and all the way into your New Year's Eve forecast as well. So be sure to join us for that. Again, I'll have a complete look at that forecast just about an hour away. But right now we're in continuous coverage here with our storm trackers around central Oklahoma. Again, basically tracking the freezing drizzle and freezing mist, and again, bringing you, unfortunately, the traffic snarls and the accidents, again, as they've happened around the metro this morning. What I want to do, I want to go back down to Mike and Jesse. And they were on the southern sides of the metro. I think they're on I-40, probably past the Tinker Diagonal now. Might even be getting close to downtown. Guys, you're on the live line with us here. We're looking at your live video. Tell us where you are now and give us a live update.
Yes, William. We actually made went north on I-35. We're at I-35 and northeast 50th right now. I'm just kind of checking I-35 here. We know Derick's on the south side of I-35. We decided to go ahead and go north. But I can see in the middle of the lanes here, William, where the tires aren't beating anything off or kind of evaporating the roadway. You can see right down the middle of these lanes, it's very glossy, which would be a very good indicator of ice buildup in the middle of the roadway here on I-35. So again, people are taking it slower. We're just now passing 63rd and 35, but again, we're seeing the ice on the roadways, but not in the lane of travel. I know that's kind of difficult to understand, but it's basically where the middle of your car rides down. We're seeing the ice, but where your tires ride, it just appears to be wet. We're not sliding or anything like that. So, but that can change instantly. So again, we want to stress, if you don't have to be out, please don't be out. It's not worth it. This is a very dangerous travel conditions right now. It just really is not worth it to be out on these roadways and take the possibility of, like we saw earlier, having a rollover accident or any accident for that matter. We don't want to see any of our fellow Oklahomans injured or hurt because of these weather conditions. That's why we're out. We're giving you the conditions. If you do have to go out, hopefully we can kind of give you the areas to stay away from. But again, we're still receiving a little bit of drizzle. It is nowhere near, kind of when we started the live coverage earlier this morning, it's nowhere near that intensity. But again, our roadways are still very wet. We're still getting slick spots. And again, you know, I just want to reiterate, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. This is conditions are changing very quickly here. They're getting better and then worse again. So that's kind of catching people off guard as well. So again, we just want to be very careful out here. We want to tell everybody, please, you know, if you don't have to travel, don't travel. Let us travel and let us show you what's going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is great advice right there, Mike. I mean, it really, really is great advice. I want to do this. I also want to check in with. I also want to check back in on the northern sides of the metro here as well. And this is up around the Lake Hefner Parkway. This is where Aaron Spencer is. So we're kind of going from kind of the northeast parts of the metro now, kind of to the northwest. And Aaron, you're on the live line here with us as well. Go ahead and give us a live update. Tell us what you're seeing there on the Lake Hefner Parkway.
Yes, William, the traffic is definitely slower than it was when we came through the first time. There was some debris on the road just right before Burton Road. I'm not exactly for sure what it was, but traffic is a lot slower now, especially going southbound. But the roads seem to be drier than they were when we were back over near the Edmond area. But, you know, people are still showing the caution that they need to be, especially if they're going to be out here on any of the roads as of right now.
Okay, and Traveler's Advisory officially for the Oklahoma City Metro continues until noon. It continues down I-35 all the way for the Ardmore area, Chickasha, Duncan, those locations, all the way back over through Ada, El Reno. Officially from the National Weather Service, Traveler's Advisory in effect again for this freezing drizzle. So again, even for our friends outside of the Metro, we're talking about down around Ardmore, we're talking about, like Duncan, back over through Ada, Pauls Valley. There is ongoing, at least the opportunity for freezing mist and freezing drizzle in those locations as well. So again, for our friends joining us from outside of the Oklahoma City Metro, if you're in those areas, exercise caution as well. If you don't have to get out and about, the better choice today is just not to do it. We're bringing video from the Oklahoma City Metro only because there's a higher volume of traffic in the Metro, and that's the only reason why. But for our friends in the other parts of the state, just as important here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. But again, we just also want to kind of encourage you as well to exercise caution. And again, if you don't have to get out and about, don't do it. Again, because of the drizzle, and then also again because of the extreme cold conditions building in around the state as well. Let's also go down to Derick Mashaney. I know he's on the southern sides of the Metro. We've been having a little bit of trouble with his video today, so we're just going to kind of talk to him here on the live line. But Derick, tell us where you are right now, and go ahead and give us a live update.
Yes, I'm on 35, I-35 going north, and traffic is fairly heavy, but not to an extent to where it is on I-40. People do seem to actually be exercising some sort of precaution. Hopefully just knowing that we have icy roads. But the freezing drizzle is not as heavy as it was. I've got a little bit more coming in than what I had when I was north. So it is still there. But it's not as heavy as what it was before. And so if you're around the I-35 area, I-40 area, especially on the bridges and overpasses, my only advice is to be careful.
Okay, good advice there, good advice. What I want to do, I also want to go and take a look at the weather computer here again as well. And again, while we're talking with our storm trackers here, live video from them all around the Metro, been live basically all morning. And again, those guys do an absolutely phenomenal job braving the elements again to show us what's going on out there. And again, in real time on a day like today when radar, not really an effective tool to show where freezing rain or freezing mist and freezing drizzle is rather, you really have to ground verify again with actual human beings in the field braving the cold and the conditions. Again, to show us what's going on. We're going to briefly break from them. I just want to show the temperatures around the state because this is truly the other big story. And again, from our downtown Oklahoma City cam, again, you can see it is still quite chilly out there. In fact, it's only 20 degrees in downtown Oklahoma City. Winds, for the most part, they're coming in from the north. Winds are gusting up over 20 miles per hour. And again, that does continue to aggravate the wind chill factors. But what I want to do, I want to go take a look at these live temperatures here around the Oklahoma City Metro and also around the rest of the state as well. But again, we're only at 20 degrees officially in downtown Oklahoma City. And look at that blue number. That's your wind chill factor. That's your chill factor right there. It's only 7, +7 here in central Oklahoma. So here are the live temperature numbers around the state, live readings here, basically from the teens and the panhandle in northwestern Oklahoma, right around 20 here in central Oklahoma. And then in far southeastern Oklahoma, where the cold front is basically moving through there right now, basically in the 40s. So right here in central Oklahoma, anywhere from 19 to right around 21. Again, these are actual air temperatures, only 16 in El Reno, 17 up around the Kingfisher area. Again, generally 20s up through Green Country, a few even teens through here as well. It's only 15 in 4 Acre there in northern Osage County, 15 in Newkirk. This is the other real story here. It is these wind chill factors, dangerously cold wind chill factors across Oklahoma. Again, we're talking about sub-zero, meaning negative wind chill factors in northwestern Oklahoma. It's -5 in May Ranch to right around 0 to +1 to +7 right here in central Oklahoma. You've got to be dressed in layers. You've got to be bundled up. You don't want any exposed skin, again, if you're going to be out and about at all today. Because, again, I can tell you, if for any reason you were out in these elements, hypothermia can set in fairly quickly. We don't say hypothermia in Oklahoma very often, but again, this is dangerously cold. We also want to drive home this storyline, the dangerously cold temperatures around the state as well. Hey, Derick Mashaney, I think you were trying to say something. I know you're on the southern sides of the Metro. Go and give us an update if you have something to go and pass from down in the Moore area.
Absolutely. I'm actually I-35 north of my Lincoln Boulevard. We actually just saw a car accident. Emergency response has just arrived. But it is still slick on I-35, especially off the off-ramp. It looks like this vehicle probably going too fast. Hit a good patch of ice. He hit the barrier, and his truck is actually looks like it's heading more west right now.
Okay. Do this. Hey, tell me exactly where you are again, Derick. Now, are you still on the southern sides of the metro? I know you said Lincoln, or did you pop back up north?
I actually just climbed back up north. I'm right at exit 1B.
Okay. So you're right by downtown. Hey, do this,
Right.
Derick. Check your video. It's all black. And I mean, the video we're looking at right now is coming in from Aaron in the Edmond area. I'd like to see what you're seeing. And of course, the folks at home and the folks watching on the app would as well. Right now, it's all black, the signal coming in from you. So if you can check that, if you can, and try and get your video up. But again, you're basically in downtown. That's kind of that Dallas Junction area there. And that's, you know, a lot of times where we do have, you know, especially when you're talking about frozen precipitation. It happened last week when we had it, and we had a couple reports even this morning of some traffic snarls there around the Dallas Junction. So if you can get your video up, we'd like to take a look at it, and we're going to check right back in with you coming up here in just a second. I want to do this. I want to check in with Mike Russ, who I think is also kind of up in the, I think he's actually northeast now, the northeastern parts of Oklahoma City. Mike, tell us where you are now, and go ahead and give us a live update from your location as well.
Yes, William, we are at Southeast 15th Street, exit 140 here on I-35. Now at, I believe it was 33rd, we just passed it a couple miles ago. There's a Jeep Liberty that had rolled. The accident has been kind of cleared up, but a wrecker was actually out retrieving that vehicle. But again, that's the story here. And actually, on northern 35 right now, the roadway has actually become more wet. I'm not a real scientific term, but the road is definitely wetter than it was earlier or farther to the south. And we are finding a few icy spots as well with our truck. But again, everyone's kind of taking it easy. We're not seeing any new active wrecks at the moment. Seeing a lot of cleanup of old wrecks. So that's a good thing. Maybe people are actually slowing down now, kind of taking it a little easier. But again, that's the story, William. The roads are wet and icy at times. So it's kind of become a black ice situation. You don't know until it's too late that it's there. So it's better just to err on the side of caution if you have to be out.
Right.
Go ahead and leave yourself plenty of distance. Take it a lot slower than you normally would. But again, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. This is not road conditions that you just want to go out and kind of joyride, so to speak. So again, be very careful out there on the roadways. These roadways are wet and at times very slick. And we just don't want to see anybody wind up in the ditch, so to speak, William.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we have, unfortunately, so far this morning. I mean, we've already seen that a couple times this morning, unfortunately. So great job, Mike and Jesse. Again, kind of on the northern sides of the metro now. I want to go kind of more northwest, and again, we're just kind of bouncing around with our team of trackers. They're out and about around the Oklahoma City metro again in real time, telling us and showing us what's going on. And so we're now back up, really northwestern sides of the metro, maybe back up in Edmond. We'll check in with them now. Aaron, where are you at now exactly? Aaron Spencer, and also go and give us a live update as well.
Yes, William. We are at Northwest 10th and Portland Avenue. We're actually going to get back on the interstate here in just a second. We're saw another wreck that could have been possible, but we're going to go ahead and check that out and let you know. Okay,
good job. I really appreciate that update again, kind of the northwestern sides of the metro there. So great job, Aaron. I want to go back to Derick Mashaney. He's in downtown, and we were having just a little bit of trouble with his video. It was all black, but he had an accident basically right there at downtown. Derick, if you're on the live line, go and tell us again what's going on. Looks like your video is still black. It may still be down, but tell us again exactly where you are. It's kind of that Dallas Junction right there by downtown. Tell us again what's going on and give us an update on that accident.
Yeah, absolutely, and I apologize and have some technical issues with the video stream. So basically, traffic I-35 north is slowed down a bunch. And so just arrived at the scene of this particular accident. I did not see the driver, so I can't verify he is okay. I pray to God that he is okay. But basically, it does look like they did. This particular driver did hit a good solid patch of ice, and right now that's just kind of the update that I have.
Okay, Derek, good job there. Again, he's right in downtown. The video you're looking at is still Edmond and the northern sides, kind of northwestern sides of the metro. But again, Derick Mashaney, his video is just black right now, so that's why we're not showing his. But again, there's been an accident there in downtown Oklahoma City, basically right there at exit 1, right, essentially kind of in the Dallas Junction is what you would call that. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of been what we've been doing throughout the morning. If you're just now joining us here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, again, we've had our team of storm trackers basically covering the metro. We're not really showing a lot of radar today because as this freezing mist and freezing drizzle kind of evolved as we went through the morning, it doesn't really show up that well on radar. And so what we're having to do, we're having to kind of ground verify. Our team of trackers is out there reporting the type of drizzle, the thickness, the quality of it, and then also in real time showing us how the traffic is in different spots around the metro as well. And I mean, unfortunately, we have brought at least some live accidents this morning, 2 rollover accidents, and you know, just like I keep saying, this isn't how we like to spend our Saturday morning, but you know, we're covering what's going on around the metro, and hopefully, you know, it's also making some people think twice about venturing out on the roadways unless you absolutely have to. And today is one of those days where you know, you look at the roads, they don't necessarily look wet. They're not ice coated for sure, but with this light freezing mist and light freezing drizzle we've been seeing throughout the morning, there are slick spots. And all it takes is you driving down the road, hitting that one lone slick spot where you're driving, that one lone slick spot, and you know, turns your day into a bad day, or you know, maybe the car next to you hits that slick spot, and you know, like we saw earlier, then it turns several people's day into a bad day. So again, they're not ice covered roads, but there are slick spots. And you know, as we've gone through the morning, I mean, we've seen several accidents, again, had several accidents live, and at least the one glimmer of good news, knock on wood, so far today is we've had at least 2 rollovers, and both of the rollovers the person essentially walked away from. In fact, Mike Russ talked to a guy, this was on I-240 earlier this morning, who was involved in a rollover. It actually went off the embankment, vehicle rolled. The vehicle looked completely torn up on the video, but the guy actually got out, walked away, talked to Mike, and at that time he was actually okay. So you know, so I mean, knock on wood, so far, even some of the, you know, accidents we've seen that have almost looked worst case have turned out okay. But again, that just kind of drives home the point. If you don't have to get out today, you know, don't do it. Stay home with some hot cocoa and ride out these cold temperatures at home. And you know, at least the roadway conditions will start to improve at least some this afternoon, where maybe you can venture out then. But as far as the temperatures go, these bitterly cold temperatures and dangerously cold wind chills, the way it looks right now, even into New Year's Eve, they're going to be lingering around. So, you know, this is a real polar blast. We've been talking about it for the last several days, and, you know, we've even been talking about this opportunity for freezing drizzle for the last several days as well. It's here, it's happening right now. And there will be an opportunity again for some snow in parts of Oklahoma later on today, really this evening and tonight. And again, I invite you to join us today at noon for Oklahoma Weather Live at noon. I'll have your complete forecast. And again, we'll run through those snow chances and snow probabilities again for tonight. Again, that's in about 45 minutes from right now, Oklahoma Weather Live. So let's do this. Again, right now we're just kind of bouncing around with our team of trackers, checking in with them. Like I said, they're just around the metro in real time, reporting the road conditions. I think Mike and Jesse, they're making a quick pit stop the way it looks. So I'm going to check back in with Aaron, and he's in the northwestern sides of the metro. Derick Mashaney, we're going to check back in with you. He's right basically in downtown here in just a second. But Aaron, so we've got you on the live line. We've got your video up. And go ahead and give us a live update. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, William. We are on, let's see, hold on 1 second. Okay, we are on I-35 to the north. We were trying to see if that wreck was actually a wreck. I don't think it was. It looked like somebody just broke down. So we're actually going back in towards the Edmond area right now because it didn't really look like there was much more out there at that time. Definitely over here going back towards Edmond, people are not exercising that caution like they were over there at the Hefner Parkway. We almost actually got hit twice here just about 5 minutes ago. So, because people are splitting lanes and whatnot, definitely need to be paying attention where your turnoffs are, because the road condition that we have right now is definitely not the time to be splitting lanes in front of people, because if you do have to brake quickly, you're not going to have that traction that you normally would on a regular sunny day.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, very well said, very well put, very well said. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I mean, right now there's just a little bit more of a lull. Looks like maybe things are improving just slightly around parts of the metro. Again, as far as the actual freezing mist and freezing drizzle, slowly kind of easing down some. Traffic out there, it's still, we'll call it treacherous. I mean, there are slick spots out there, and the bad part of it is you don't necessarily know when you're going to hit one of those slick spots. That's the thing that really has us the most worried. You can see traffic overall, it's moving okay. But again, most of the wrecks we've seen today, it's just been that one lone slick spot that basically caused a person or a series of people, as they kind of spun out to have a bad day. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to let our storm trackers kind of regroup. They've been on doing this now basically all morning. They probably need a quick break. We're going to take a quick break. Then also, again, I invite you today at noon, Oklahoma Weather Live at noon, a special edition. We're going to talk about your at least potential for some snow as we get into this evening and tonight as well. Be sure to join us for that. We'll also have another live update just before then as well. Otherwise, keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma.